Diz, do me a solid. I hear you. I hear you up in there. Let me know if you hear me. You hear people in the chat. Diz, let me know if you can hear that, cause I see you up in there. Hi, I'm Mike. What's going on, brother? Let me know if y'all can hear me, man. So make sure y'all hear. Okay, cool. All right, he can hear me. Somebody, either Bari, Heck, anybody, just talk for a minute. I want to make sure Dizzy can hear y'all.
Yo. I'm here.
All right, no doubt. Diz, let me know if y'all can hear them talk just now.
What's going on, Diz?
What's going on, man?
What up?
Chilling, got that. About to do some goat talk. All right, sounds good. Everybody good? All right, cool. No doubt. Why Addict needs to mute his mic this year? Oh, and Mike with the slander. I see that. Addict, you there, bro? If not, I'm just gonna start, man. All right. And we are live. A little bit of a Final Fantasy VII Remake spoiler cast, a little informal. You know, we got some esteemed panel today. You know, so I wanted to get some of the people who I consider experts in the genre, as well as people who are very passionate about the franchise. So we're gonna get this thing rolling, man. Starting off, Lord Hoeg Law, the man of the hour, the lawyer that everyone knows, favorite gaming lawyer. How you doing, sir? First of all.
The definition of fraud is wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain.
Woo!
Apropos of nothing, of course, I'm doing great. How are you
doing? No hitting meanings or anything with that, right?
No. I thought I'd start out with a legal definition.
I appreciate that, man. Good to hear Hoeg all spicy and ready to talk, man. Good to have you on the panel. We are gonna have a lot to say about this game, this ending. So good to have you on, brother. And of course, we have Lords of Gaming.net's own Hector Ramey, my man. How we doing, sir?
Doing good. And I'm here to represent one of Square's best games in years.
I agree, by the way, with that.
We're gonna get into it, man. It's gonna be fun.
No doubt, brother. Had to have you on the panel. Your passion for this game and this franchise is very deep. So you know I had to have Lords of Gaming on and Hex in the building. So that's good stuff. You already know. And of course, person I haven't been on in a while, my man from the online arcade, and one of I consider actually his Twitter tag is actually J Bari Strife. J Bari, how you doing, sir?
Yo, what is good, man? Definitely appreciate the invite. Seems like it's going to be a good conversation in here. So yeah, let's get it.
Let's get it, man. Had to have Bari in here, man. The passion rolls thick, so we got to do this thing, man. And of course, we got Weapon Wheel's own, another Final Fantasy VII lover like myself, the Immaculate BG. What's going on, BrokenGamezHDR? How you doing, sir?
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Good to be here today. Talk some Final Fantasy.
Already know.
Shout out to you for the invite.
Oh, you already know, brother. You already know. And I don't know if Attic is back from whatever he's doing. I would give him an intro, but hopefully he will join in progress as this continues. But man, we're gonna get right into it, man. So what I wanted to do is break this thing up, and obviously we know about the ending. It's a very controversial thing, and you know we're gonna get to that. But what I want to start with first is just historically what Final Fantasy VII means to us. You know what I'm saying, as a game, as a series and stuff like that. So I'll start off, and then we'll pass it around. So for me, you know, Final Fantasy VII is a huge, important deal to me as a gamer. I think for the first game for PlayStation as a RPG, I was kind of tricked. I didn't know what it was. Shout out to King. He had the Japanese version early in New York, and we didn't know what to make of it. And I thought it was an action game. And to be honest, once I got going, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is one of the earlier JRPGs that I really attached myself to. I played JRPGs prior, but I never would consider myself a hardcore JRPG guy. But when Final Fantasy VII, to me, it kind of normalized it to the mainstream. It made it cool, you know what I'm saying, to be a fan of these type of games. And I had a lot of my friends, you know what I'm saying, who would never buy games like that, come over to my house, see the game, and would be like, yo, what is that? The cinematography, the epicness, the bombasticness, the character designs, all that stuff resonated. So that's what Final Fantasy VII means to me. And also is really why I fell in love. One of the main reasons why I fell in love with PlayStation 1. It's one of my favorite PlayStations. So that's that. But I want to bring it down the line. Let's start off with some people I haven't heard from on this topic. Let's start off with actually Jay Bari. I know how much on Twitter you rep. You know what I'm saying? So, but I want to get from you what Final Fantasy VII, the game, means to you, you know, personally as a gamer. Bari's gone. Bari, you there? All right, we'll get Bari.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. My
go.
bad.
It's all right, man. What you got?
So yeah, Final Fantasy VII is pretty much like my favorite game of all time. I love this game to death. Characters, story, lore, all of that stuff. Just in general, the whole overall story of Final Fantasy VII, always loved, and you know, I hold it dear to my heart.
Yeah.
One of the reasons is because it's not my first Final Fantasy game that I played, but it's the first game where I started to do like strategy guides, like friends.
Wow.
You know, where I sit up in the library and I write up strategy guides and print it out. Wow. Old school stuff.
Wow, you taking it back. This is like Game Facts days? It's like, what we doing?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I wasn't like huge, and I was a little kid, but I was just helping my friends, like writing up little strategy guides for like, you know, bosses or secrets and stuff
That's
like that.
What's up.
But yeah, like this game, the remake, everything just means a lot to me because, like I said, it's my favorite game of all time.
No doubt.
I love this game to death, man. Characters, you already know, I'm a huge Cloud Strife fan. Woo! You know, that's in my name for everything I create. Every game character I create is always something Strife. Mario Strife. So yeah, man, it's just a huge game for me.
No doubt, that's what's up, man. So let's get into Lord Hector, man. What's going on, Lord's Game down there? Tell me about your journey with Final Fantasy VII, specifically what this game's franchise means to you.
Yeah, and so my gateway to 7 was actually Crisis Core on the PSP. Friend introduced it to me when I was in middle school, and I decided just to give it a go. And so that's where like I really started getting into like the whole world of Final Fantasy VII and the characters. Zach Fair's my guy. Like, he's the GOAT for me.
Oh, Zach, salute.
And then I really wanted to play the original, but at that time we didn't have PSN. Or at least like for PS3, like to play the classics, so I couldn't play the games. So my friend jailbroke my PSP.
Oh,
and after I played the original Final Fantasy VII, just a download, and it was a struggle because I played through it once, and then my battery crapped out on me, so I had to re-download it and play it again.
Oh,
same thing, battery dropped out of the PSP, so all my save data was corrupted.
Oh,
yes, and I got to Cosmo Canyon, so I didn't really get to play through the entire thing until it came on PSN, and then I played it. Absolutely adored it. Loved the characters, the world, the music. It was that game to get me to JRPGs to play the classic Chrono Trigger, 6, 1. So it's really it has a near place in my heart for what it does in story and characters. It's phenomenal for me. One of my favorite games of all time.
I feel you, brother. I feel you, man. Definitely resonate. A lot of that resonates with me as well. Let's get Lord BG in here, man. What's going on? Final Fantasy VII, man. What does it mean to you? The original, the franchise. Where does it hold a place for you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We'll be up to BG now.
Yeah, man. Like Final Fantasy VII is one of those games where for me, like the gameplay was great, but you know, even though it's just, you know, a lot of these RPGs is just technically menu shuffling, it's still, you know, a lot of fun. And one of the greatest things about the game was like the depth of the characters and how, you know, each one of the characters was dealing with something, and each one of the characters meant something, you know, like Cloud and his you know, his issue with the insomnia and you know, his troubled past and everything like that. You know, even going to Sid, you know, somebody who, you know, his like character was like renewal and trying to bring, you know, something back. A lot of the characters just had depth, you know, even the bad guy wasn't just a typical bad guy and stuff like that. Like the game had the had the depth that like I felt when I played Metal Gear Solid 1 for the first time. Like Snake and the villains just not being, this paper thin character. So like it's just a really epic game.
No doubt, no doubt. And of course we have Hoeg Law in the building. I gotta get Hoeg say, I never got a chance. I know we spoke briefly, but I never got a chance to ask what the Final Fantasy VII, series, what does it mean to you when it first came out? Where does that hold, that place it holds to you?
Sure, absolutely. Well, people that have been following me on Twitter have seen me go off for a couple days on this, and some people asked me if this game was important to me, and I wanted to take a step back and actually say, when you look at what I say, what you were about to hear me say, and definitely the passion I'm about to say it with, the tilt that everybody should understand is that this is one of the more important games in my life. With respect to my life in gaming. Now, I don't know what everybody's ages are here, but based on some of the context, I started with Final Fantasy 1 in terms of the Final Fantasy series, went through 2 and 3, which were actually 4 and 6. 6 was my favorite game of all time for a good long while. I had a save that I essentially kept at the opera scene in 6 so that I could play it from time to time and just remind myself what that felt like. And that was the game that really proved to me that this medium that we love, gaming, video games, could tell stories that were so deep, that were so invested in, that could really touch us and could tell us something about humanity, even though you're suplexing a train on the way.
Salute to the train.
And so after Final Fantasy VI, which was just this big, big deal to me, there was a pause before Final Fantasy VII. And I remember getting these kind of leaked images on Game Pros and EGMs and things.
Taking it back, yes.
And Midgar and everything else. And I got so excited. And this was the first game, Final Fantasy VII was the first game that I can really remember that I bought myself. Didn't have to ask the parents. Went out there, got a pre-order from the electronics boutique that I kept in my wallet.
Let's go. Continue.
That I kept in my wallet in order to just get through the tough days. I'd take it out, look at it. It was great. I remember being thrown into a pool by some family and friends, and I had to get out and blow dry the pre-order. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get the game. I mean, that's the space I was in for Final Fantasy VII. And at that level of expectation, it came out and it beat it. And so Final Fantasy VII is in my top 5 of all time. It's one of my favorite games. Absolutely. I have been so excited about the concept of a remake of bringing up that game, which I think the rendered style, it didn't survive as well as some of the other styles. I prefer to go back to something like 6 rather than 7, 8, and 9. That might be just me, but I was really excited about seeing what they were doing. And then when they released the demo of the bombing run, a month ago, I was like, they did it. This is unbelievable. I'm there. And then we've got more to talk about, but that's what it means to me.
Yo, huge, man. I definitely hear where you're coming from, and that definitely took me back with those specific timepiece quote stores and things of that nature, man. Impressive. Lord Attic, man, now that you're back, me and you have gone back and forth. I've always known you to be a Final Fantasy guy, and 7 in particular. So what does Final Fantasy 7 mean to you?
Well, I think 7 means a great deal. I think the whole franchise means more to me than just 7. Like 7's not even my favorite game. That's the funny thing.
Which is your favorite? Which is your favorite?
It would have to be 10.
Okay.
10 or 9, one of those two.
Okay.
But like I remember because I played 8 before I played 7, and then when I played 7, it was because I didn't have a memory card, so I had to play the whole game with it on. It was just one of those things, and I remember like one of them. I don't remember which one it was. I got a memory card, and I was already in the middle of a playthrough. And the PlayStation 1s, you had to reset them for it to register the memory card. So I couldn't reset them anyway. So
you were dead one sitting. Well, technically,
like Final Fantasy. I think it's the sole reason that I'm even in gaming.
Oh, that's huge. That's a huge impact, man. One last thing I know before we move to the next topic is that I think another thing for me personally that really took it to the next level. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's when I first saw a summon for the first time. What was happening on that screen? I remember having Leviathan and was like, "What is going on? Like this is a movie."
I played. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I played a demo with it on it, and the demo showed you Diablo.
Yes.
Well, Hades.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember summoning that.
Bro, it was like it was such a powerful feeling, like I'm controlling this thing, and it is Barry, I heard you, man. Like summons, man. Wasn't that something?
Oh yeah, man, yeah. I think we all here are summon hunters when it comes to Final Fantasy. So yeah, 7. Yeah, it's just amazing how the graphical detail back then. It was just like, oh snap, this is crazy. Even when we got this Chocobo Morg the first time, like that was fire. You know what I mean? But then leading up to like one of my favorite summons was always like Phoenix. The one that's come on Bahamut Zero, Neo. Hades is one very important one which you can use for Ruby weapon. But yeah, summon's amazing, man.
No doubt, man. So let's get into it, man. So obviously the game's out and we have been touching, we've been playing, all of us have ended it. Let's start. We're gonna do positive, negative, start with the positives first. So let's get a BG in. Now, obviously I've had you on ILP before. I want to get just the positives about this particular remake that you like. What did they do well?
Oh man, the positives. So just to throw some stuff out that's like at the top of my mind. I mean, the voice acting is definitely done good, even in English voices. Typically in games like this, I would probably turn on the Japanese voice, but the English voices are good. We got like Asher from All American.
Yes.
Aerith is this chick from YouTube, and Barrett is an accomplished, voice actor. It's so crazy because when I listen to Barrett,
they got the dude from Breaking Bad in there.
Yeah, I swear to you, when I listen to Barrett, because back then, you had to create the voices in your own head.
Facts.
You had to do it.
Facts.
Everybody did it, and I swear to you, that's exactly how I pictured him sounding, like that to the T. I'm like, that's how he sounds, and then this guy did it, and I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah. Stand out.
The battle system, just works so well, especially when in the beginning of the game, you're kind of like, you stutter stepping a little bit. You kind of tripping over the menu because it's real time a little bit, and you might trip over the menu, or you're just a little bit slow. And now you begin to like play the game, at this point, playing again on hard, as you get further into the game, even on your first playthrough. Now you're playing it like you're putting in fighting game commands, where you're not even like, you don't even got to think about it that much. You just, you switching from character to character.
I'm with you, BG.
You go and you shuffling through the menus. You know what summon you're gonna use. You know what spell you're gonna use. You know what ability you're gonna use. So it just flows so fluidly once you understand, exactly, what you're doing. So I love the battle system. The visuals are for the most part good. We obviously know it is very inconsistent.
We'll get that to the
it is very inconsistent, but for the most part,
I think that's an everybody negative.
Everybody gonna hit that negative.
And I know there's some people that try to overblow it to make it seem like that's most of the game or the majority of the game, but most of the game actually does look good.
Yes.
Right. That's just the truth. But like I said, it could go from Final Fantasy Advent Children quality to like something, a throwback from the PS1, like
shout out to the bathroom textures as we talk about.
Absolutely. You talking about the slums.
You talking about the slums?
They make the slums look like the slums. Essentially. Like
accurate representation. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sure we're gonna get into it. Like I do like the story, the changes, and how they've fleshed out, how they've like put in some, how they've they've added some gaps, like in the original, there were some things we had to assume that happened in between, right? But now they're like, oh, this is what happened in between that. We are actually going to show you how it gets from point A to point C, because they skip B sometimes in the original. So all that stuff I definitely love about the game.
No doubt. Let's get Lord Hector, man. What about the positives? I saw a review. I saw a lot in there. What are the standout things about this remake that you just love?
For me, it was, especially after playing Final Fantasy 15 and playing through the Kingdom Hearts series, expecting like really great things out of those franchises. One thing that stood out to me about Final Fantasy VII Remake was the world building. It was, for me, absolutely phenomenal and one of the most immersive experiences I've had in a video game since Xenoblade Chronicles in 2011. Just the amount of NPC dialogue that goes on, that you can catch at the in the back of your mind, or something you're just passing through. There's people in Midgar with real problems, and they express them to each other, and you can get to catch that as you're walking around.
not to cut you, especially when you walk like right after the bombing, so to speak, and you walk through the crowd, everyone destroyed, and like you'll hear the voices individually of what everyone's going through as you pass by. Like I thought that was unique to you.
Yeah, no, exactly. And to tie that in, to tie into the side quests, which I know it's contention with some people. Some side quests are hit and miss, but what they do really well is world build and to really get you into it, and it feels special when you're having kind of like this connecting side quests that just flesh out the culture, the diversity of every area, not just Midgar itself. It's fantastic world building, and on top of that, the dynamic soundtrack is fire.
Talk about it.
Oh my gosh. Just the amount of remixes and renditions whenever you're just walking in an area and just smoothly cut into when you're fighting is nothing like I ever played before.
And what I love about it too is like they used the soundtracks a lot more loosely than they did in the original one. Like almost every time like Tifa and Cloud having a moment, like Tifa's theme song plays.
Yes. Yo, I gotta jump in on Heck because Hector got me going too. You know what? I started getting to the point where there were certain areas I love because of certain beats. Like, remember when you fight those bandits?
The collapse. How yup,
bro?
Yo, they put the Market remix.
Yes, I'll be like, yo, I love this beat, son. Like, it's 3 beats. Like that one, the Coliseum beat. Right before you go into the Coliseum and you waiting, and that it knocks, right? And then obviously we know the classic, battle music. If you don't have feels for that, you're not a human being.
Every boss fight is epic because of music.
The music. Who's your man? Educate me, Hack. Who's your man on this music? Because he is outstanding. Like he's ridiculous.
I gotta look up his name because I keep forgetting his name. It's like Masaharu something.
I think I do got it. Continue.
They got one of the original composers.
Yes.
Uematsu rearranged his music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a mix of people that were actually working on this soundtrack and collaborating to see what's good, what they want to go with.
Masahashi Hamazu?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I keep missing on his name, but
some of the 13 folks with the 13 music. That came up to me when you're in a collapsed highway. It's so FF13, and I like that music. But it's interesting to compare those to the old ones from Final Fantasy VII.
I hear you.
So I'm glad you say that because Final Fantasy 13, regardless of what people think about it, has good music.
Yep.
That's
my favorite battle theme.
It has fantastic music. So
that's where you draw the line.
Yo, Final Fantasy 13. I'm not saying it's a great game, but when it comes to that battle theme,
But all right, can I stop for 1 second?
The music couldn't even save that game.
But no, we get there. But he just talking about the music. Can we establish one thing though? And I'm about to say something controversial, even though it's not my turn. I'm still cutting it on Hector's turn.
Ooh, all right.
My thing is that Sephiroth boss music.
Oh yeah.
Bam!
Children.
Bro, when they got the Gregorian chants going on and they saying his name, it's over. I've never had
my favorite part.
Go ahead.
My favorite part is when they added the actual the Avid Children One Angel.
Yes.
They added the actual.
You're killing me.
We got you, Hoeg. We covered.
Did you see? What's funny is when you fought Sephiroth at the end.
Yeah.
He did a Kingdom Hearts move in it.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna save that. We're gonna save
it.
I just his
and it does the same thing,
bro. When he ascends, it is the most scary, terrifying initial start of the song. Right, like he's here. Right, and then obviously the crescendo, it builds up, it goes through all these motions. Now, Attic educated me. I believe obviously this is something from Advent Children. I believe it's like a remix. My understanding. Help me out, Barry. Is this something that they?
Oh yeah, the one with Angel.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the Advent Children.
Okay.
Version of it. They remixed everything. They mix everything together with it.
Got you.
It's parts of Avid Children.
That's when he's floating in midair and he's a singularity that is sucking in the like a black hole. Is that when that's what we're talking about?
Yes, we're talking about that. In the heavy beat and the chanting and all that stuff. But
no, it's great. Hey, it's great music. It absolutely is.
No, that continue, Hector. I'm sorry, you're bringing feels out.
That's what I'm saying though. Like the music of Remake is just it hits that emotional spot for old fans and just brings the hype for new fans, I believe. So that's like one of my key takeaways from it. And just there's so many other stuff, but I'll let other people speak so they can get their take in.
You know what I love that they did with the music? Because every one of these bosses, like Genova, Sephiroth, they have different versions of the music, and they switch to the more hardcore version the deeper the fight you get into it. So like he'll be almost dead, and that music's like, dude, I think the music's harder than Sephiroth at this point.
Dude, it was one of those things, Attic, where you know how you fight a challenge,
especially the Genova fight.
Yeah, when you fight a challenge, it's one of the few times where I don't get mad when I'm losing as much because I'm knocking to the peak. Like, it's weird. It's just a weird thing. But let's get Hoeg in, man. Hoeg, man. You know.
Yeah, no, I got a lot of positives. I mean, you don't have to worry about me on this. No. As a matter of fact, you know, when we get later on in this podcast, one of the reasons that I'm going to be so strong on the rest is how much I loved this game. As I said, Final Fantasy VII is important to me, and to some extent with modern Square Enix, I haven't been. It's not that I haven't liked their output. Let's say I haven't been fully satisfied with their output in 15 years. That their games have something to say for them, but there's always something a little bit wrong. And Final Fantasy 15 was held together with baling wire and scotch tape, and I still enjoyed myself. But this is by far their most holistically correct Final Fantasy-esque magic game since maybe 9, in my opinion. I know a lot of people like 10. That one wasn't for me, but 9 is the last time I can think of being really in love with Final Fantasy. And this one captured that, held it for about 34 and a half hours out of 35. And what I really, really loved about it is that I'm okay with changes. You're going to hear a lot from me later on.
I know.
But I'm okay with changes. I like Chapter 4. I like going and seeing the top of the plate and seeing Jesse's family. I like what they add into these kinds of things that are in the spirit of the plot that they had put together. I actually really like the battle system. I'm the kind of guy that says, I love turn-based battles. I wish they were more prevalent, but I've got my Personas. I've got my Octopath Travelers. I can still enjoy those elsewhere. And Final Fantasy has always changed its battle system. Every single game. I adore Final Fantasy 13's battle system. I'm okay with Final Fantasy 15's. I have, no specific love for the ATB systems from 4 through 9 in any given kind of combination. I hate 8. I mean, we can say that right up front. But
that's one thing I agree with you on.
Actually, I didn't mind 8. I didn't mind 8.
Oh, I'm sorry?
I said I didn't mind 8.
He didn't mind 8, but Bari agrees with you. Bari says he didn't like 8 either. Continue, Hoeg.
No, I didn't like it. In any event, I really like this battle system. I think that they found this kind of perfect collision of we want to be flashy, we want to have action, we think that's necessary to get audience in the door, and we want to add ATB to it and have you think about things. And what I really liked is somebody mentioned that it felt like a fighting game halfway through.
Yes.
I started going back to hard, and you're getting in the front. And I was like, oh, I'm whizzing around now. It's like I remember kind of clunkily doing all this stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, I can see the flash, and I know I'm going to hit X twice and hit you with a braver. And it's all this stuff, and it really works out well. And I actually, unlike me, when I'm playing games, halfway through playing Hell House, whatever it was, I remember actually going, woo!
It's a sense of satisfaction.
You know what's crazy?
It's like a roller coaster. It's like a ride.
Yes.
You know what's crazy is the fact that it's so good, the fighting system. I'm like, this is their fighting system. Don't change this. Like, this is their fighting.
I have one negative I'll talk about next time.
I said I was sitting there saying they've cracked the code. I was sitting there playing this game saying, if they finish this thing off, we'll get there, then this is going to be one of the biggest, most important, greatest moves, projects in video gaming history. And I'm there for 30 years of buying quintologies of you doing 4 and 6 and 8 and 9. You can have my revenue until I die, Square. And then they went a different direction. We'll get there. But I really, really loved it. And I love the music. I sat on the Crystal theme when it started up at night on Friday last week. I sat there for 10 minutes. I love the horns. I love the drums. I love everything that they did to it.
So good.
And yeah, I really don't have anything that I really disliked about the first 34 and a half hours of the game. There's little stuff we'll get into with negatives.
Yeah, we'll do the negatives.
But overall, I love what they did with their high definition towns that they said they could never, ever do again after 9 or 10 or wherever they stopped. And I really, really loved it. And so that's where I come out at it. Is like something like everywhere until you are escaping Midgar, where the normal game ends, is something like a 15 out of 10 to me. Straight up.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I think
go ahead.
I think the reason this game was possible is because they made 15. I think 15 put a lot of the variables that they were unsure of into place.
Right.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because they ditched the Luminous. After 15 taught them that to just go with Unreal, for God's sake.
Pretty much, yeah.
Unreal's amazing.
Luminous was just garbage for 15.
Well, it's just so. I put on 15 after I played Remake, and it's like, oh yeah, you could just feel it's being held together. It's trying. The lawnmower engine back there, but you play Remake, and it's like, oh my God, that's Square Enix. This is the Square Enix that is at the top of their class, and look at all the shiny lights. And oh, did Ifrit just do that? And that's Square Enix from old.
I feel you. Go ahead, Alec. Let's get with positives of this remake, man. What did you think they just nailed and they did well?
To be honest with you, there's very few things I don't think they did well. Obviously, you know, there's the ending, which we'll get to that. They, you know, I feel like they did the summon system, you know, okay.
Yes.
I would prefer it to be differently, but you know, it is what it is. I like how they made where every weapon is relevant. You can use any weapon you want in the game. You just got to level it up.
Yeah.
I like how, you know, they branched every weapon with special abilities. I like the new way they did the magic system where you have to scroll over. You know, for the most part, you know, there's very few things that I sat here and I tried to think of things that I did not like, and it's very, very far between.
That's a powerful statement.
Big-ish one, but we'll get.
That's a big statement, man. Yeah, let me jump in, man. Look, this is. I said this before in ILP, and because Final Fantasy VII means so much to me, you know, when I heard the initial announcement of the remake, you're happy, but there's part of me, Jay Barry, that's like, you can't mess with the Mona Lisa, right? Don't touch the like. There's a little fear, it's trepidation, right? Because it's like, you know, you don't want them to ruin your baby. Now we know how Hoeg feels. We get to Hoeg, but you know, for me, I'm always going to come in with I don't say a negative mindset, but a mindset of I'm going to be very hard on you because you're, in my opinion, messing around with what I consider near perfection, right? So as I get into the remake and we're starting it, and obviously the demo, when the demo came out, really relieved my fears, right? I'm like, oh, okay, the Midgar, you know, the bombing run, you know, it was a completely expounded upon, given a great cinematic feel, and then afterwards, I'm like, man, I feel like there's so much context added. Like, I'm like, are we terrorists? Like what are we doing? Like, kind of thing. So
we were always terrorists.
Yeah, but I never captured that from the
original one. They didn't like, you know, besides like a little bit of fire, like you didn't go up buildings and up ladders and see people crying.
I'm like, I felt away. And then like Hector makes a good point. One thing I love about this game is that when you get characters in your party, the game switches a lot. It forces you to have one-on-one relationships with people or certain groups and so on and so forth. And as you're with them and going through these areas, usually from one area to the next, it's like a path you have to go. What I ended up realizing is that natural banter was great character building. I'm thinking about like what you said with Eris and Cloud. You know what I'm saying? Even, you know, Tifa and stuff. Like certain things I just thought was just so well. And for me, again, I'm a purist. I'm old school. I'm showing my age too now. Like I come from
here we are
turn-based. That's it. I'm really not with Heck and what you call it, Addict with the new wave battle and precedent. I usually like that turn-based traditional. So it was a tough decision even booting up the game to even do it, because I'm like, nah, I should play the old way. But then part of me said, look, let me just give it a chance, right? This is one of my favorite games of all time. Let me give it a chance with this new system. And let me tell you, man, this battle system, like BG said it best, you start clunking around in the beginning, right? You clunk around. But as you get going and you start getting familiarity and you start learning that stagger system and you start incorporating limit breaks and summons and switching on the fly, Barry, you start feeling like it's a fighting game and it's on, right? And the thing that they do well, like I'm not a Dark Souls guy. I'll be the first guy to admit it, right? I'm really not a Dark Souls guy. But one thing I appreciate about it is that the sense of accomplishment when you beat something difficult. Where I think their battle system trumps it, it's just my opinion, I'm saying something controversial, is that they got this anime cinematic feel during stages of the fight. So during the stage, not only do you see the bosses change up and do whatever, sometimes you'll see commentary. You'll see Cloud and Barrett and them talking about stuff like, what's going on? Like, it's such a anime, cartoon-esque, boombastic thing that I love it. I just wish more games would incorporate that, because especially like when you're fighting the Turks, like Reno and them guys, it almost reminds me of old Hoeg, like 70s kung fu flicks. Like,
you know, one of the
good. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna get into it now. Like, it's such over the top. Go ahead, Addy. I hear you talking.
You know, one of the most memorable fights in that term it was to me is when you right before you fought, you go and you get on that bike.
Yeah,
it was that robot, and when you did enough damage to him,
motorball.
Yeah, when you did enough damage to him, he was stuck at the back, and the fire stopped you from going left or right. And he had one beam that could kill you.
Yes. Side quests, again, hit or miss, but there was some memorable ones that, like, some people are just absolutely hilarious. Remember I told you about the bandits underneath the highway? Those are standout. You know what had me, Barry? Who's the little dude that when they're waiting for you at Eric's house?
Oh, Tom Berry?
Yo, who's the little dude with the knife? And
that threw me off. That threw me off for a second. I was like, wait, they got a Tom Berry in here? I know we did that with the fat chocobo, but I didn't know they was going to actually put a Tom Berry.
They did that. That was like very lore. You know, that was like a lot of lore, because like the average person who doesn't know about them, they were like, oh, this is about to be.
They get up close, get to him with that knife, and then
not knowing these are one of the things in the Final Fantasy franchise that could one hit you and then you be caught off guard. Bro, as soon as I see that thing, I was like, I don't want no smoke.
Yo, what happened, bad BG? They had their mans in the back, like, yeah, get him.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's funny is, like, when that fight started, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a magic kind of fight. Like,
yes, bro. It's little. I mean, even characters like Johnny and like Wall. What is it? Wall Guarded. What is it? What's that town? Wall Market is hilarious. Like, there's certain things that are goofy, but it's so well done that you just got to laugh. And it just has Final Fantasy VII Remake has these moments that I'm like, well, now we're gonna get to the negatives. The last thing I will say is the materia system. I do like that. You know, everything is thought out. They made some subtle changes, but I actually like. I know Addict may disagree, but I actually like that you have to earn the summon. I mean, even though in old Final Fantasy VII we can kind of use Leviathan, use Ifrit, use at will, right? It adds to the epicness. Like, so when you earn it, you finally built up that bar. It's like, no, you gonna get this work because y'all been put me through a lot of damage and stuff. So that's how I feel about it. I know how
they pretty much hit you with like FF 10 and 12, like with the Espers, you gotta defeat them to get them.
Yes.
But you can find some of them in the world too. So that's still there.
No doubt. Yeah. So any more? And that's me as far as
I got some positives.
Any more positives? Please go. Then we're going to negatives.
Hold on, Javar, real quick. I remember you actually mentioned this. Like, we gotta mention that second. Nostalgia egg they gave us when you fought that behemoth in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, Type Zero. Yeah.
And when you killed it, I knew it did meteor, and I'm sitting there, I'm like waiting for it, and it just stops and it like stands up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go over here. Like,
no doubt. So Phil, I know we got a couple more positives before we go to the negative. So I know Barry and Peachy, what you got?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I like the that they didn't make every weapon useless. Typically, okay, you get a new weapon, the other one, the last one is trash, sell that thing.
Yes.
But now each one of them, has a special ability. You got to get the proficiency in that.
Yes.
And then that adds to your collective of different moves in each one of your characters. That and all of them are useful depending on the situation that you're in.
Shout out to that stance with that auto stance that counters. That saved me a lot.
Counter strike.
That saved me. And
that's like the best move.
Bro, shout out to Attic for telling. See, I didn't know that when you switch to the weapon, that once you have the proficiency, that it stays with you despite any other weapon change.
Yeah.
So shout out to Attic for putting me on. Continue, BG.
Yeah, and like with the materia system, I don't know if anybody else felt this way. I feel like you maxed out like materia really fast, even though weapon proficiency
minus
like
revive
that
though.
Really
Minus
fast.
revive took a minute.
Oh yeah,
for me,
yeah. That I got that into my second playthrough on hard.
You know what's funny? Yeah, I was about to say I got that after I beat the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain ones that's going to take
certain
you
ones
long.
take a minute, but yeah, continue.
Like, trust me, I was grinding before I beat the game.
Yeah.
I grinded a lot of AP to max out these materials.
Yeah.
It's a shame you did that because when you beat the game, you get triple AP.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't know like hard mode was doing all of that, but I still wanted that grind just to max out because I wanted to do the Chanley mission, so I can get to.
So let me just ask a real quick question.
let
Do you
BG get
think because they let you play hard mode and have triple AP, triple XP, they're gonna let you take all this shit to the next game? Because I don't think they're going to.
That's a good question.
I don't think it. I don't know. I was questioning that. I'm like, we're doing all of this in this first game.
Yeah.
I can't see how they would let you take everything maxed out to the next game.
That's a good point.
I've been trying to figure it out. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I think they're just going to have default materia and like have like all of them certain levels. Like I don't think they're all going to be like base level.
Right.
But I don't think they're going to let us take this OP shit we got now over there.
It could be. What you
You're
think?
gonna have a loadout, I think.
Hoeg, do you think they let us carry it over?
No, I think you're just going to have a loadout. I mean, I think what max is 50 on this one, so I think you probably start game 2, if you do decide to start game 2 to you, at level 25 would be my guess. Level 25 with some base stuff, and then just say, this isn't Mass Effect. This is good enough, and we want you to have an enjoyable experience anyway.
No, fair enough. Continue, BG. You just finish it up. Your positives and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much. I just love the weapons and the upgrades and everything like that, and the Chadley and the battle intel, and small things like you don't have to stop and engage with every like NPC in the world to hear what they're saying. It's just it's like conversations you hear out loud. I'm like, that imagine if you had to stop and talk to each person.
Oh God,
that would have made this game at least like 5 hours longer, bare minimum.
I love that natural hearing the audio cues of passing by townsfolk and getting their story. Yeah, I love that.
Small stuff like that.
I do love that too.
Yeah, small stuff like being able to multi-use items, quickly. Just they thought of a lot of the small things. I really like.
And last thing I'll say before we move on, set pieces. I thought the Shinra building looked immaculate. Like there's certain pieces, that certain area, even when you go in some of the sectors and you look up and you see that skybox, Hector, right? And you see that the plate is gone, and it's just certain aspects of it. Vision. I know we talked about some visual inconsistencies here and there, but it's a beautiful game, man. Like, I mean, when you even like the faces, it is spectacular. The eyes, everything about it, and just the seamless switching from cinematic to gameplay is just, man, it was something else. But that's what I got on positive. Anybody got anything else? And then we'll get into
go ahead,
Barry.
As far as positives, like I said, I've been saying this on Twitter, but this is by far like one of the best games where it just comes to like boss battles. I feel like every boss battle has been like fun, dynamic, and it's never that, this is a boring boss fight. Everything that felt really good to do, man. The music hits. That meme that on Twitter that you see the guy sitting back. Yes. And then he sits forward, like getting serious, like that's how I feel like every boss fight.
Like, we're okay.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, let's get this. Phase 3, all right.
Yeah, Jay, I'm with you on that. This game has the best boss battles in any Final Fantasy game.
I would have to agree.
Yo, it the way how they did the boss battles, like turning regular enemies into like bosses, like you have secret enemies like Eligor, and it's into a boss fight. I was just like, yo, this is amazing, man. The battle system. Battle system.
What happened, Barry? Oh, okay.
Can I get cocky for a second?
No, talk that talk.
Do you mind if I get cocky?
No, talk your talk, baby. Let's go.
When the first trailer dropped, PSX, I definitely put out there that this is going to be a hybrid type battle system. It's going to be action / turn-based. A lot of people was bashing me. A lot of people like, what are you talking about, Jay Barry? Do you even play Final Fantasy? I was like, all right, okay, all right. Then all of a sudden it's like, yo, I love this hybrid battle system. And I just go back, 9 months, 10 months ago. I call this, okay. But yeah, like I said, I've been streaming about the game for like about 10 months. If you guys want to follow it, go ahead and watch that. It's cool. But yeah, the material, like you guys said, I love that you can still have your material builds. I like the fact that they didn't really change the material that much with it. You do earn it pretty quickly as far as leveling up. I do agree with that, but some of them it does take long.
Yeah.
And I do like the pacing of the game. Like chapter to chapter, the pacing is very, very like upbeat. Even though you have slow moments, but you're still doing stuff. I know a lot of people talk about the side missions are hit or miss.
Yeah.
But to me, the side missions are way too important to be skipping or being hit and miss.
I'm with you as far as importance. Like, I want all the items that's going to beef me up. I want
it's beneficial because I'm telling you, when you play on hard mode, you're gonna want to do them side missions that skipped or whatever.
I'm gonna have to go get my Moogle medals. I'm gonna have to go see the kids.
Oh yeah. Get your Moogle medals, get your transcripts, all that.
You got to give credit to the mini games. Okay, the mini games.
I
just want to say I'm a dark god. I'm a block breaker.
Oh, you what's it? Whack-a-box?
Oh yeah.
What's your whack-a-box score, BG? Let's go. What's your?
I can't listen, man. Don't worry about it, bro. Just know you're not beating mine.
Go ahead, man. I'm in the.
You got bullseye all 7 times, BG. All 7 times.
I'm gonna have to check, but just know my joint is up there, man.
Me, I'm a Coliseum dude. But continue, BG.
What's your darts though? If it's not 6, I ain't want to hear nothing.
We gonna check the trophy.
What?
If your darts is not at 6, I don't want to hear nothing.
It might be at 7 or something like that. I might have to check.
Bro, I'm 6. Let's go.
I got to check.
Fair enough, man. Definitely, man. Many games.
No, but one thing though, Jules, Jules got me. I can't get Jules yet. I'm gonna beat hard mode, then I'm gonna come back to Jules though. I'm gonna come back to Jules.
No doubt.
That pull up. Oh my god.
Pull up is crazy. Yeah.
I just gotta say too, man. In Walmart, obviously one of the highlights of the game.
Absolutely.
But the cross-dressing scene,
bro,
hilarious.
When they did what is it? What's the name of the club? The Honey. What is it?
Oh, Honey.
I have 2 hilarious standout moments in it. Besides the classic, I didn't even think they would. I knew they were going to go attempt the Don, whatever his name is, scene. I knew they were going to do it. But the funny thing to me was the things around it. Because I didn't know about your man that was definitely Iron Cloud during the battle. You know what I'm saying? And then, I didn't even know about your man. So that's funny right there. But to me, though, side note, and I put this on Twitter, the funniest thing in that town to me is before that, knowing who the teacher of the kids was, and then going seeing her in the back alley in the honeybee suit. And I'm like, Miss Sting, I know you don't do this on the side. She's like, yo, don't put my
moonlighting.
I'm like, how's she gonna be? I said, we ain't think about the kids.
Yeah, I get that money, bro.
Yeah, that was insane. But what got me was when Cloud finally came out of that club.
Yes.
Fully dressed up.
Don't talk to me.
Makeup.
Don't talk to me, Eris. We're not going to talk about this.
Yo, Eris was having mad fun with it.
That was hilarious.
My favorite scene is Madam M, one of my favorite characters in the game. Yo, Madam M, she did my man Cloud right, man.
Right. Oh yeah. She would lose.
She would leave that stress.
She would leave that stress.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's a fact.
No, when Cloud got up on that stage and started dancing, that was the equivalent of like going to the club with your group, and then one of your boys just getting forced onto the stage.
Just getting forced on it.
I was crying.
He got to a point. He was mad natural with it though. He was mad natural, right? Attic, he was flowing with it.
Yo, Cloud was moving.
Cloud was grooving, man.
Yo, looking mad uncomfortable. They're still moving though.
Yes. Hoeg, what did you think about the whole wall market, that in general, and the Don and all that stuff? Did any of that stuff resonate with you?
Yeah, I liked Wall Market. And to me, I think it went a little long. So I don't think a lot of the places were pacey.
Okay.
But Wall Market was a big chunk of time. Chapter 9 is long.
Give me a favorite. Give me favorite like chapters or any set pieces that really resonated with you.
Well, I love the bombing run from the start.
Yes.
I played the demo for a year before it came out in 97.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I think the Shinra museum tour.
Yes.
And then the video.
Yeah, yo, the video was amazing. So good. Yes.
Yo, there was a lot of little tidbits in that little.
Don't you love how they got rid of all that unnecessary stuff in the original one where you had to go find this card key to get this? They still had that, but it wasn't like that.
You had to do it. You had to do the mid-guard plates,
bro,
to open a little chest.
Yes. Shout out to Hoeg. Shout out to them trolling. Did y'all I took the steps and went up all 69.
Yep. Oh yeah, I did it.
Because I never did it.
It was. Yes. It was a horrible experience, but it was pretty funny.
It was hilarious. I don't know if Hoeg, did you do that? Did you make that?
No, I did not. I remember that from the original. I didn't do it in this one. I actually didn't know they kept it in this one. That's cool.
Yes.
What's funny is like Barrett is struggling.
Yo, but Cloud tried to put off this bravado, like I get this, but he starts struggling too. Like, What's going on?
And that's before Red even calls him a sack of shit, right?
Yeah, for facts. Oh my
Come
god.
on, Red. You
Come
just
on,
met.
Red. I know.
That's another thing I love about the game is that they didn't really censor this game much as far as like the the characters. No, like sensory stuff as far as like how the characters was talking in the original, like how Barrett is always cursing and stuff like that. That stuff wasn't really like censored. I really dig that.
No doubt. Hoeg, I'll let you finish up, and then we'll move on to these negatives.
No, I think that's it. I mean, I really liked Shinra Headquarters. I was a little worried about it because that's a piece of the original game that I don't love quite as much.
Gotcha.
And so I thought they did a really great job with it. I could have done with a little less Tifa on chandeliers, but it's all
That's what I was saying. When I was doing that, when I was doing that chandelier part, I was thinking to myself the whole time. I was like, "This is unnecessary."
Shout out to the purple ring gloves.
Not me. That share button was being pressed.
There you go. There you go.
Continue.
No, it's just an interesting thing, right? Because you've seen the entire game, Cloud jump off a falling pipe 30 feet into the air to hit a catwalk.
Yes.
And later, just a couple minutes later, he's going to be slicing through a train. Anyway, we'll get there. But to have that kind of be the barrier, we got to come all the way across the chandeliers. I just thought was funny.
What's funny is like Tifa's limit break. She goes that high.
Yeah, right. There's somersault next to it. You're all good. But no, I really liked a lot of it, and one of the things I've seen online is some people don't like the dungeons as much as others. I actually really, really liked them. I remember going the underplate with the lights. Like I really loved that, and that was new, I think.
Yes.
So had a great time with all that stuff.
No doubt, man. Epic moment.
How did you guys feel about the lack of being able to farm efficiently in this game?
To me, it wasn't a problem because there was a key spot early to farm.
Oh, right? In the factory.
Yeah, in
Sector 3.
Yeah. Well, also when you're in the slums, right before you go on, right before you actually go on the mission with Jesse, I think you could actually farm in that little area right there. That's probably like the earliest one you could actually farm. So for me, I did it a good amount there, so I wouldn't really have to do it much further in the game.
Chapter 9
also farmed the part with when you're with the highway, the busted up highway. I did it there.
The collapsed highway. That was my farming spot.
Yeah, that's the farming spot. No doubt. All right, so we got the positives out the way. So I'm sorry, Hoeg, you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say it's interesting because I actually didn't farm at all, and one of the things that I thought they did a really good job of was keeping on the curve for the most part.
Yeah.
Hard, challenging, but mostly on the curve. The battle system, as we talked about, is great. One of the things that maybe it's a little harsher on than even original kind of Final Fantasies is that if you lose a person, you can get outside that spiral real quick.
Yeah.
And that can't happen. But what's really interesting about that is that you can get absolutely just destroyed by someone. And if you're paying more attention to the health bars and everything else, you can then in turn destroy them.
Yes.
And that's a really cool thing of that battle system that doesn't usually happen in a Final Fantasy where it's just like, okay, my attack needs to be +3 because I'm just not doing enough.
Not doing enough. Yeah.
And that comes up in hard a little bit when people heal, and it's very frustrating. But
that's how I feel. If Barrett dies, my synergy is gone because Barrett.
Barrett dies.
That's my support dude.
That's my tank from distance.
Yeah,
Facts.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I absolutely agree, man. So we're going to get into it. So what I want to do, I want to touch on the negatives, but I want to do it with a spin. Negatives minus ending, because we're going to save ending for last, right? So
I figured that from your tabs.
I would hope so. So what we want to do is, what did we dislike about the game? No ending talk, though. No ending talk. Anybody could jump in.
I got a few.
Go ahead, Bart.
As far as even though I enjoyed Wall Market, I still preferred how the original way did it. As far as you got to go from section to section to get the different pieces to fill up
the dress,
Cloud's
right?
dress. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just felt like they just gave it to you. I mean, you did other things in side missions as far as it leading up to what type of dress you get, which is cool. But I just still like the original way better with that.
Party All Night was like that, right? I mean, or Party All Day or whatever the heck that side quest was called was you did wind up walking around to Wall Market. It was interesting.
Yeah.
The textures, I know a lot of people's going to bring that up. The textures is definitely one thing. At first, it did kind of bother me because, when you first boot up the game and you're taking all these screenshots, it's like, oh, look at the background, the screenshot. It looked like a PS1 game here. You know what I mean? It kind of threw you off, but later on, I just kind of like, all right, it's whatever it is, because like BG said, majority of the game does look good.
Yeah.
Another thing that bothered me, these are small gripes, and I don't really have too much dislikes, but these are my small gripes here. The saving, it's just me, but I feel like when I want to save, it should be instantaneous, like boom. Then to save the load, then to get out. It was like 2 months. I was like, come on, man, that thing. And then you put a shortcut, and it's still loaded. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
like, that bothered me a little bit. I know that's small. It might be a little minute.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Yep, big time. Because I would panic save before certain things. And I was noticing, like, damn, it take a minute. Like, continue.
Could be a little quicker. I was like, damn, PS5, hurry.
Word. Let's get this SSD, please.
Another thing I dislike was the proximity voice thing. Where like even if you're close to somebody, you're having that little banter, which I like the banter, but if you're veering right, but your character is to the left, like the volume will go
off. Yes,
you know what I mean. And it's like, I gotta turn to the character.
I have to go back. That would happen when I would run too far ahead, and they're saying important things, and I can't.
You miss it.
Yeah, you just see the text, but
you see the text.
Yeah, continue. I see what you're saying.
See, I was going to say on the voices. I thought you were going to say, because we put it in the positives, that we like the town banter. I love it too. One, they repeat if you walk by them too much. There should be like a trigger. Right. But two, they have these mobs, and I remember looking at one of the TV screens in the slums. They have these mobs that are right next to you, and they will talk during the cinematics, like what you're supposed to be paying attention to.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so old. It's just so modern Square Enix, really, which is like, it's a really good idea, but it's slightly off.
Yeah,
and it doesn't bother me. I love this game, for the most part.
They do it when you look for like the music too, like you listen to hear the music, but if you're not like pointed to that vicinity where the music's coming from, you won't hear it. Like,
especially with the discs, right?
The disc, yeah. But as far as that's like my real negatives with the game.
Okay, no doubt. Let's get Lord Heck, man. What's up with you, man? What negatives? What you didn't like? No ending part, but just as far as the game itself.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that I noticed from the get-go was some of the animations on the NPC faces were just really like stone. And it kind of threw me off for a little bit, but actually when I was watching Maximilian do stream last night, he was saying that in one of the behind the scenes of Final Fantasy VII Remake that those lip syncing that they do in the game is an AI. It's not
really. Yeah,
it's not actually man-made as they go on. They go through the game to fix it up, but it's actually an algorithm where the voice of the actor is doing AI is actually matched in game.
Wow.
So, which is super impressive. It's like genius level stuff to like, it saves so much time. But I did notice a couple of times where it was a little off, and it kind of threw me off my immersive experience. But other than that, there's not really a lot that I really didn't like. But I would say that a couple of chapters do go on for quite a bit longer.
Yeah, I felt some did drag a little.
Especially chapter 17. That was one. It's like a 3-4 hour chapter that lasts a little too long.
Which was 17 is the lab, right?
Yes.
Yeah. 17 went on a minute. Yeah, 17 went on a minute.
I love that chapter though.
I like the chapter, Barry, but I'm weird heck in the sense that like I love the concept of the splitting up, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I love the communication calm, and I get it. It did felt like it went on maybe 30 minutes, maybe more than it needed to. I could have been cut 30 maybe minutes out, but I did like the concept. I just felt it went on a bit long. That's just me, but other than that, it's not pick. Continue.
No, yeah, I was just saying was that, and I can see where Jason comes from. Where the pacing sometimes it gets a little slow, but that's where like the moments where you stop after the crazy set piece that you just went through to kind of just get into the world of it.
Yeah.
You do notice it stops every now and then, but for me it was good. But yeah, there's a couple of times where it's slow to a crawl, and I was like, okay, let's pick it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's not really much that I kind of like didn't like about the game, other than just a very minor nitpick stuff, like the air combat.
I feel BG, I know BG feel a way about that.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a little better. I mean, the answer to it all, magic, right? You just get them.
But it shouldn't be. We should still be able to hit in the air consistently.
Exactly. And that's where I think my review, where Kingdom Hearts 2, it could take a page from Kingdom Hearts 2, where when you're in the air, you have a continuous string of air combos, so that you're not constantly dropping to the ground, going back.
That's what I was saying with Hector the other day. I was like, I agree with him with certain parts, but there's weapons that when you level it up, it helps with air combat, especially with Tifa.
I should need a certain weapon to fight someone in the air.
Yeah, true. I get you. But
like, what's funny is that the most difficult people for me to fight were the people in the air, because like the first off they go to an area
Drake.
where I couldn't.
Yeah, the Drake. Shout out to
the
Arrow.
Drakes didn't.
Shout out to Wind Magic, baby. I was
the Drakes didn't give me issues. It was the people on the propellers. Like,
the helicopter.
Yeah.
dudes.
Sometimes
Those
wait
gets
for
me up,
them.
too.
I wait for them.
Yeah, just wait for them Cloud and counter.
Like, I
When you
would sit
when
there-
you parry them, they stagger easy.
It got to the point because I was trying to be like endurance with like the magic. That if I saw them, I'm like, I'll pop an ether. Here, hold this lightning. Like,
No.
Or fire.
no, I think-
fire.
Go ahead, Hope.
I think the air combat is part of this, but one of the things I would say is kind of my light negatives is there are scenarios in which you can just be rigged wrongly in materia or character or
yes.
whatever.
You don't have any of their
Where-
weaknesses. Yes.
Right, where you're fighting a guy, I remember in maybe it was the collapsed highway, you've got the spinning blade guys that are just untouchable by your melee folks.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't have the ATB and you're just not quite rigged correctly for magic, you just wind up essentially running around and waiting for your ATB to fill.
Yes.
And it can stall out.
Yes.
That's where you got to master that parry with Cloud, because when they come at you and you parry them, that counter hit it staggers them like 80% bar and they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Hope.
that-
That happened to me. Hope. That happened to me in Hell House. I didn't have when I fought the Hell. I didn't have
Hell
anything
House.
when his windows went to the opposite element.
Yes.
I ain't got nobody with that material.
Yeah, there's one, I never had wind. Like I never
Yes.
had enough wind.
I only had
you know
one.
what-
Yeah.
You know what's
Yo,
funny?
Hell House was my longest boss
Facts.
fight.
Facts. Hell House terrorized me, but
There was a couple bosses in the game that I really, there's one that I really enjoyed how they did. It was the dude that you were climbing the Midgard Shinron mansion, the headquarters. You fought. No, it was the one that you fought on the side. You had like 3 different forms of a fight. And one time, it was the dude with the propellers, the dude that chased you through the whole climb.
Valkyrie.
Oh, you talking about the Valkyrie
Yeah,
fight?
I think it was Valkyrie.
Okay.
I like how they did his fight. Part of me doesn't like how they did the machine at the end, because in the original you fought him on a helicopter, on an elevator.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
he crashes in and you're in the lobby. Yeah.
Yes.
The heli gunner.
Yeah.
Part of me felt like it should have been on the elevator, but I get it. That would have been a hard fight to do technically, but it's just like that was. I remember that fight because in the original fight, you fought him there going down while Tifa and Cloud. Only Cloud
down.
fought him. Cloud fought him on the roof, and I didn't really like condemn it because it wasn't on the elevator, but I was like, I felt like it should have been on the elevator. Like,
No, I feel you. I feel you on that.
I was definitely expecting that elevator scene to be in there, but I was like, okay, you're just gonna do it in the lobby.
I understood why they couldn't do, but the fight ended up being good anyway. So
That
it
was a
was,
tough one,
but I understood why they didn't have it in the elevator, because that would have been a rough fight to program for, to fight in the elevator with 2 small spaces.
No, I get
And
it.
that's a smart
budget-
boss too, man.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
budget
right.
would
Well,
have
when you got the
go to the
original,
highway
you got
fight.
that
Go ahead, Hope.
battling.
I'm sorry.
That makes more sense to have your guy jump up and slice something in a different elevator, and it's different when it's in real time. So it didn't bug me. I actually liked that video going into that fight shows them kind of aligned next to each other in the elevator, and it's like, oh no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to slam into the ground. And
How'd you guys feel about the Rufus fight?
I love that fight.
Like, I know, no.
I saw that. BG
Hold on,
was
BG.
fighting.
Let's go. Let me hear it,
My
BG.
issue is not even necessarily the fight. Okay,
You were fighting them all wrong. You were fighting them all wrong.
Be here, BG, why you don't like it.
A lot. It's magic and it's counter stance a lot.
No,
right?
you have to be
And-
parrying them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
okay,
a
cool.
defensive
Right.
fight.
It's a defensive
Yeah,
fight
it
for
is.
sure.
It is. It's magic. It's a lot of counter. It's a lot of parrying. But like even like with the meta, I'm like, okay, let's be real. Rufus was not even like a memorable boss fight in the first, right? He was just another dude.
Yes.
Why is he suddenly Itachi with guns?
Yo, he was dead nice. And
What's funny, BG? What's funny is another thing you didn't understand is like he's linked to his dog, and if you unlink him from his dog, he goes completely unconscious.
Yeah, I killed the dog first.
I killed the dog first.
No, but you never
the
like
same. I killed
if you use the thrust move,
Yeah.
it will unlink him from his dog, and you can fight the dog by himself for a couple seconds.
Okay.
And I know he's weak to. I think Rufus himself is weak to Braver. I think that's like Cloud. Like, yeah, he's really
How
weak
I
to that.
beat him is I would parry him, and if I didn't parry him when I went in for the reload, I hit him twice in the after the reload, and then I would switch to the triple slash.
Right.
But
Yeah, reload. That's where you
I
gotta
just have
attack
a
him at. He's
problem
reloading.
with bosses that are like, like, oh, you can't touch me. Like, it's just the whole you can't touch me thing until this like very
You attack him,
small-
he just shows up behind you and hits you once.
and it's just
What
automatic gun
if you
counter.
look at a Rufus fight, it's pretty much like a upgraded Reno fight because Reno is kind of the same thing where
Yes.
he's dodging and he got the counter attack. But Rufus does like 100% now. I'm just gonna counter you.
At least Rufus, at least Reno, you could actually hit him. Rufus is automatic counter if you don't hit him at the right time. And once again, it's just I just didn't expect it. I feel like it's very jarring from what he was in the first fight. I'm like, why is he Itachi with guns? Where did this come from?
One thing I didn't remember, and you guys can correct me or not. Remember when you fought Rufus and you fought not Rufus, Reno and what's the other dude's name? Rude. You fought them both on top of that tower. Did you fight them both on top of that tower in the original one? For some reason, I want to say you just fought Reno.
No,
Yeah, you just fought Reno. I think it was a
And
rematch.
Reno ran. He didn't get his ass handed to him in the
But the
original
next
one.
time,
Yeah, I don't really remember.
you fight Rude in that little cave after the Midgard's Zolom.
Yeah.
That's where you fight Rude at. But
it was
yeah, go ahead, my bad.
And wait
was
till you
funny,
start
like-
fighting all the Turks together.
I found the Reno and Rude fight easier than just the Rude fight. The Rude fight, like that was the real fight. I'm like,
Rule got
okay,
busy. Yeah, Rule
Yeah,
got busy.
Rude will beat you up,
Man,
though.
grabbing me up.
Yeah, Rule was very disrespectful. I remember.
Yo, then he put that sleep, go to sleep. I'm
Yes.
like, yo, bro, this done tracking me. Like, what's going on?
He was
I
I
had
was like,
one
Aris,
time-
come on, you
at
gotta heal
one
me. You gotta
time-
heal me, Aris.
yeah.
At one time, I had Reno putting one person in a pyramid and Rude putting the other person to sleep. Like,
Yeah, it was rough, man. They had helicopters going on during certain battles. I'm like, come on, fam, y'all being real extra right now. Like, this is a bit much. You know what I'm saying?
But it was flashy. It was
It was-
fun.
oh yeah,
And,
it's fun. Don't get me wrong. Yeah,
The ghost hadn't stopped you from doing anything yet. It was good.
I agree, man. Now I want to touch one thing negative that's not ending, that's story related, and I want to know how y'all feel about this because I feel this was a missed opportunity. I'm gonna bring this kind of question to Heck as well too. We get to we in Shinra Mansion at the tower. We're working our way up to the top. You get the Genova thing. You see the trail. You know what I mean? We looking for the president and all that, and the Sephiroth comes through, and the thing that bothered me that I thought was a missed opportunity, and I know why I feel I know why they did it, but I thought, because remember, Attic beat this game, Barra, you probably beat this game, all you guys beat this game before me, right? And Hoeg. So I'm thinking, what is this shock thing that everyone's talking about, right? What is this thing that's pissing
waiting
people
for it.
off? So I'm thinking I'm at the end, right? My dumbass. I'm thinking,
the funny thing is I beat this in 2 days.
because you're
I
savage.
played it Friday and I beat it Sunday.
Yeah.
And I remember the whole time me playing it, I was tired. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning. I just got off work in 12 hours. I was like, I got to see what Dreamcast guys talking about the end. I got to. And it would literally motivate me to keep playing.
To keep playing. I had to do it. So it's like, I get to that point, and then the game decides Sephiroth is here, and we are killing Barrett. And I said, oh, this is crazy. I said, oh, this is bold. I was like, I'm upset. I don't know how I feel.
I saw BG play it, and he was like, how you gonna kill the only black guy in the game?
I mean, it's the only brother in the game but
No,
I'm like,
that's when I knew it was fake, though. That's how I knew it was fake.
I was
Oh,
fooled.
if it was a
BG.
white guy,
BG.
that was good.
BG, I thought that was the moment. I said,
I knew it was fake.
Sure.
I was
I knew
like,
it was
they
fake.
removed Barrett from the
It's fake.
series.
It's fake emotional weight to the game.
That definitely wasn't a moment.
Right. So
Well,
I
they were setting up the ghost, right? I mean, like the Red 13 conversation is right before that, where he says what the ghosts are.
yes.
And so they're trying, what they need to establish to go into the ending, and we'll
Yeah,
get
almost
there,
there.
I know. But is that this is what these ghosts do. This is what they're capable of.
Right.
And so they freaking revive Barrett. And if I would have put something in the negative column throughout, once you get to the ending, and this isn't directly ending adjacent, but you
Go
can
for
call objection if you want, Cognito.
No, you good. You good.
Is there are so many scenes now. I'm kind of trying to go back through it, enjoy the things that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
There are so many things now in this remake, quote unquote, that have the scenes from the original that are going to go a different direction, that are going a different weird way, that are then intervened with these ghosts.
Yes.
That the ending one of the things I tweeted out was that the ending goes backwards in time to take away some of the fun that you enjoyed before it. And that's what I mean. Is that
it's
these ghost scenes,
yes,
these ghost scenes exist, and they are actually intervening in what you know from the Final Fantasy VII story.
It almost felt like a narrative. They felt like a narrative troll. Like we know what's supposed to happen. We know you know what's supposed to happen.
Right.
But we're here to intervene and do like whenever anyone goes on
what's funny?
That's where the whole Destiny thing is coming in.
Yes.
To play.
You know what's funny? I have so many people.
Everything.
Yeah.
I have so many people that I've been watching the reaction, and they're referring to the Whispers as the original Final Fantasy VII fans.
Yeah, that's the game.
Oh no, they are.
The game is fighting itself on the
Ryan
purity.
Johnsoning up here in the house. We'll talk about that.
No,
we got another tab. I'm waiting.
We're almost. I know you got your guns
so
ready.
Meta.
Yeah, go ahead. But heck, like, what did you?
Honestly, for the rest of the game,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't want to jump on anybody. For the rest of the game, it has those scenes. So you've got. We win. We beat Reno. We beat Rude. We're about to stop the pillar, and they just don't let you. It's a different story completely, and that can be okay. We'll talk about that, but it really does fundamentally change what it is that's happening.
Yes.
That was the only time I wasn't about, because almost every other time the Whisper showed up, something happened that prevented the story from going forward. And I have my own theory. I personally feel like Sephiroth from Avid Children somehow went back into Sephiroth from the past's body, because he shows up in times at the beginning of the game that he was never there.
Right.
And it's like he's trying to antagonize Cloud to try to piss off the Whispers. And I feel like the only way the Whispers would show up, because if you read their bios, the Whispers only show up if time is starting to be distorted.
Shout out to the assessed material giving you more story and context than the actual game. Shout out to
y'all know who the Whispers are, or have a theory of who the Whispers are?
Break it down, baby.
Yeah, it's Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett from the future, from our past.
That's what it felt like.
I feel like the Whispers. This is my theory. The Whispers is definitely the Cetra, and they dare to protect the planet actually to stop the
I feel like I believe that too, because Aerith can talk to them for some reason.
Yeah, you remember what Aerith. You remember what Aerith did with Marlene when she tried to? Marlene was like, "Oh, so you're one of the," and she was like, "Shh."
Can I comment on that? Did I make something up in my head when Marlene and Aerith did the hug? It almost felt like there was some type of connection that she felt in Marlene. Did I misread that? Like, it felt like there was a little pause inside when she went to go rescue her from the bar.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those unanswered questions.
Yeah, it almost felt like she had that ability. They shared an ability, and they realized it during the hug. Maybe I'm looking too much into it.
I think Marlene recognizes it in Aerith, and I think that's the same thing that Aerith does to Red. So you've got Aerith being a kind of wild card.
Yes.
And Sephiroth. I mean, one of the other negatives that I would say is, and maybe Advent Children, all this other stuff. We'll get there. I know we will, but. That what in the God's green earth is Sephiroth doing in this game?
Yes.
And when you get to the ending, when you get to the ending and you have that fight, and we'll talk about that, it's still one of the problems, one of the big negatives I have, not about the content of the ending, but what happens at the end is why are we all fighting him? Where is that information coming? Aerith gives a speech which doesn't make a ton of sense for what her knowledge base is.
It doesn't. It's like she has the knowledge of what happened.
She's being vague.
She's vague. But to be honest, I got more context what's going on with everything through Red. Red to me. Go ahead, BG. Go ahead.
You mean like when Aerith called him, like suddenly like evaluated, like read him, like just where I know who you are, like you're a terrible person and all that.
Yeah,
not you're terrible.
Yeah, because
what's funny is she said
Aerith is pretty much saying that Jenova is a real cause. That's not really Sephiroth there. Okay, remember in Crisis Core, where I'm pretty sure everybody played all this lore of Final Fantasy. Sephiroth has Jenova's head. He has a component of Jenova.
Right.
And he's manipulating Jenova to do all of that to get all the pieces of Jenova, like the body, the specimen that he's carrying at the end and all that stuff. So that's not really Sephiroth there. That's just Jenova, but Jenova is used to manipulate, like how Cloud is being manipulated is the same way how they're doing.
So you think Jenova's manipulated?
Yes, like Sephiroth, he pretty much is in the live stream, in
he's in the live
Northern Crater.
Right.
Jenova is low key Sephiroth is low-key Genova's son. Like, not technically, but he was born and raised with her cells in
with
him.
her cells in it from birth in the womb.
with Lucrezia.
I think she's manipulating him. I don't think it's the other way around.
No, see, I would disagree. I guess we're on the next tab.
We
but,
almost there. Almost there.
What I would say is that Sephiroth is definitely at the end. Clearly, the one goal
I think that was in your mind
to him is that he wants to stop the Whispers. He wants you to kill Destiny,
right?
And he apparently needs the party to do it.
Okay,
because he's goading
which
the
makes
whole
no
game.
sense. Which makes no sense.
I don't disagree on any of that.
I know. I'm saying Sephiroth needing you to kill the Whispers makes no sense. It's like, why did he need you to kill the Harbinger when he could have easily have done that himself? Like,
well, why does he need the party is a great question, but I think it's clear that he So you talk about a time traveler, and I think maybe something along those lines, because he clearly is like, oh, that original Final Fantasy VII didn't go my direction. We're gonna have to go a different way. Hey, Cloud, wouldn't it be cool if you killed these ghosts? Now, what I don't understand is, the flashes they get before the ending. I consider before the portal, before the ending, Cog.
Right.
So
yes.
but
I've already switched the ending tab. We already switched the ending tab. We're here.
Is that when you get to that point, why does the party jump on for killing Destiny? Because, yes, humanity may or may not be destroyed depending on how you do this without Advent Children and everything else. But why did they suddenly go, oh crap, we can't have that future?
I think
you guys mostly won. I mean,
I think that
it was traumatic.
I think that the way that they try to explain it in a really bad terms is that speech that Aerith did, where she was like, "Look, you do win. The planet suffers. I die pretty much, but you do win. He can't be stopped. He's literally making portals right out of the Whispers. We can't stop him. We have to stop him." So I think that was what they tried to do. And for some reason they gave Barrett that shine before he went in the portal. I don't know what that was about. Out of everyone they could have gave that shine to, they gave it to Barrett. Where they pretty
much gave you, we choose our own destiny. Right. Rather than it just being preconceived for us, Right. Yeah, you're getting little tidbits here and there from defeating each Harbinger and all that stuff, showing you here's some of your future. Even though some of them look like they're confused, I think Aerith is not confused with it, but some of them.
I think Aerith knows what's going on.
Yeah,
Aerith. Yeah, I agree. Right? I think Aerith definitely knows what's going on.
Yeah.
From the context she's saying, especially if you go back to her dialogue near the end where Sephiroth opens that portal, she's hinting at, hey, this guy is bad. He's gonna do something really, really crazy. We're the only ones that can stop him. So we have to go in and change fate to as a step to stop him. And
I'm willing.
And fighting fate for them, when they got those images of the future, for them they saw that as something bad. Maybe we didn't win. Maybe
I'm willing to bet you that Aerith knows what he's going to do, not what he did in the previous games. Because the way she was talking, if she knows that the past, knows what's going on, she knows that they win. And Aerith's persona really isn't the kind of she's not gonna be selfless. She would literally go die again just to summon Holy. So the original timeline, I feel like she knows that what he's doing isn't that, and there's nothing they can do to stop him unless they go with him.
Okay,
but let's take
to do everything that Aerith needs to do. Sephiroth is still going to be manipulating Cloud to get what he wants to get, so he can, do what he got to do. So that's why I think the whole Sephiroth part is coming in we really got to stop him. But it's just a trail. This is where I want you. Destiny is trying to stop me from leading you to the trail where I want you to get the black material, because I can summon meteor and all that stuff. That's why I need you to stop.
Well, the Whispers wouldn't stop Cloud from doing it. Yeah, Whispers wouldn't stop him from doing that. What it is Sephiroth knows he's going to lose, and he's defying Destiny, and he's making them defy Destiny to stop him.
Hoeg, let's get it.
Exactly. He's playing a real tricky card on them to make it seem like they're going to end up something bad. So I'm going to make them change.
Why? But that's what I don't understand, right? So you've got Sephiroth trying to manipulate the party, and you've got the party then saying, well, we have to beat Destiny. And you've got Aerith that talks to the live stream. Why? I can't get from A to C, which is, why does the party want to defy Destiny right here when Sephiroth has told
There's not enough build-up. They should have had more of a build-up, reasons why people want to do something.
Rationality. I just need a couple.
I agree. They go literally They go literally from driving on that bike to let's all go in here. We don't care what's gonna happen.
Me personally, I really felt like the Whispers wasn't even they have you didn't even have them in you didn't even need them in the game, to be honest with you.
No, they should have just changed.
See, and
they wanted to change.
I feel like that's
right.
I feel like that's the problem too. I feel like that's the problem too, Jay.
They're overthinking their own game a little bit too much. With the
Jabari, I feel like that's the problem too. Is we all played one game and we all have different perceptions on what happened in that game. Like that should not happen.
No, I get that. They're very cryptic. Let me, BG. I heard.
But they're being cryptic for a reason. Because, like I said in the beginning, I feel like they doing this because they know the game is going to be in multiple parts. So, you want to get the rest? Like, here you go, man.
But I feel like there are certain things that you have to answer in this one. Like, for instance, why are the Whispers doing what they're doing? Like, I feel like you, at the bare minimum, you have to explain why Sephiroth is acting different than he did in the original.
Right.
And why do they exist at all?
They already preconceiving a lot of things, even showing Zach's scene, you know what I mean? Where
that's like get into
that. We gonna touch that.
Throw everybody off with that, right?
Yeah, it threw me off.
Before we get into the specifics, I want to just say one thing, because this is the baseline, fundamental reason why you see me go on tirades, and why this is so disappointing to me, is that I think we can all agree at this point, after the end of Chapter 18, that what we did not play was a remake of Final Fantasy VII, and setting up for a remake of the remainder of Final Fantasy.
That was a bait and switch. Continue. Oh,
yeah.
So that's the first point. The second point,
to be honest with you, Hoeg, like, what would this even be considered? I don't even think it would be considered a remake.
I consider it an adaptation based
it has to be an adaptation because it's not, and I don't even think it's a sequel.
But it is I think it's a sequel. I think it's a Dark Tower type thing where you can have a time traveler. It's Back to the Future 2 in those scenes in 1955, right? It's Sephiroth is back in time, fucking stuff up.
Yes.
And now we have to deal with that. And the time cop ghosts have come out and said, "Stop doing that, Sephiroth." Like and then Sephiroth convinces the party to say, "We don't need no time cop ghosts. You should kill those time cop ghosts, and also they're going to look like a Kingdom Hearts villain. That's okay."
Yeah, I don't think it should be this complex. I mean, I look at it as it's a remake except this is on the alternate timeline, and it's like where. Like, just like Infinity War, where Thanos became very self-aware that he lost. He's like, okay, so this is what I got to do to possibly win. And I guess that's what Sephiroth is doing. I'm okay with the interpretation of this part being open-ended, though.
Endgame isn't a remake of Infinity War or the rest of the MCU saga, nor was it sold that way. I don't mind the story. I don't mind Final Fantasy VII reimagined. I don't mind actually you selling it to me as something that is new, the sequel, a sidequel, a sideways universe, a lost, whatever you want to call it. What I mind is selling it to me as remake, teasing it 7 years ago, teasing it 13 years ago, announcing it 5 years ago. At last, the freaking promise has been made, you goddamn liars.
All right, but hold on. I got to stop you for a second. Hold on. Let me.
The game is the same thing.
All right, yes, I'm saying. But let me get you. I'm with you. My thing is, your main point of contention is to the letter of the law. They did not follow and recreate Final Fantasy VII. If they would have done that, you were good. That's all you wanted.
If you finish the end of Chapter 17, the end of Chapter 18 at the bike and the car have beaten Motorball, they're driving away, you get that shot from them leaving Midgar. You cut to credits right there. I think you've delivered on your promise.
Right.
What is bothersome to me is I play all of that. I love it. I enjoy it. I say they've cracked the code. I start thinking about Cosmo Canyon and Gold Saucer and Temple of the Ancients and all this good stuff. And then they get to the end and they say, "Did you like that? Did you like what we did right there? We can do it. Modern Square Enix can do it." Right. And you're not getting a goddamn minute more. Enjoy Kingdom Hearts. Go fight time-traveling monster people. Enjoy.
Okay, so the last. What about to the? I'm gonna give it to the rest of the panel, but I gotta ask Hogan. What about to the argument that people will say you already have Final Fantasy VII? If you want that story, you could play the original game and be fine. So why not let them take this liberty?
Then why didn't you decide to sell it as that, Square Enix? The answer is millions and millions
of dollars.
You know damn well.
You know damn well what it was. Yeah.
That's one thing. That's one thing with this remake is it's like. all the compilation of everything of Final Fantasy VII, they have incorporated it within this remake. You know, it gives you hints of Avalanche trying to assassinate the president. They even, you know, they even showed you some Crisis Core or before Crisis Core.
But I don't mind. I mean, you don't see me complaining about Chapter 4 or the fact that Avalanche is now part of a bigger group and all this little stuff. I don't love Kyrie, but I don't complain about it.
He's talking about he doesn't like the fact that they advertised this game for years as a remake, and he didn't mind adaptations on something that was in the core, in the lore. He doesn't like the fact that at the end they're like, "Yo, we gave you 35 hours of greatness. Now we gonna do what we want to do. We don't care what you want to do."
Hoeg, does that now coming into now? Basically, the game ends and it says, "The unknown journey will continue." So,
I know it does.
So they we are literally at a point where this thing could go left. They could literally create. We have a multiple timeline thing possibly going on. We see Zach.
I don't think it's a possible thing.
I don't think it's going to go left because, like I said, that boss fight, the Whisperer and Harbinger is giving you the future.
No, but I get that. But Bart, here's my point. We not supposed to be fighting. Like they're doing.
Yeah,
classic,
you killed him. You killed him. He's dead. He's not stopping anything.
Bro, they're doing classic Final Fantasy VII ending callbacks. When he's doing this and you're doing like all this stuff. I'm like, why are we fighting? I was surprised. I didn't think
when they did that.
When Sephiroth came out, I was expecting a cutscene, something bombastic, and then tune in next week. You know, when we whatever, and then I'm like, oh, we fighting. Oh, we doing this. Okay.
Because you killed the plot.
Yeah, the thing is you killed the Harbinger, but the Whispers are still there. I don't think
they are
Destiny
not. No, the Whispers are dead. I know Nomura has an obtuse way of telling stories, but when they all turn into golden showers and he showers all the city, then that's everybody saying Destiny isn't.
That's the Whispers blowing up.
The reason that Zack appears in front of Midgar and it's covered in Whispers is because he's not allowed to go there. That's not his story. He's going to die right now. And they all dissolve. And then he's carrying Cloud back home. There's all sorts of shit now. And whatever you say about whether you like it or not, it's going to be Kingdom Hearts, courtesy of Final Fantasy VII.
Listen, I ain't having no Kingdom Hearts.
Let's go ahead.
Here.
Let's go ahead. Let's get Hack and BG.
No Kingdom Hearts slander.
I go for. I'm with Hoeg on it. I'm not a Kingdom Hearts guy, but continue.
What I saw with the Whispers was that that was kind of like their constrainment of going to the story in different ways, right? We got a pretty faithful remake with what we got here.
We did.
We did. We definitely did with Wall Market, with 100%. Shinra. They made some liberties.
Right.
They did.
But they made some liberties. But from when you destroy the Whispers, that opens up a myriad of possibilities when it comes to telling the story how they want to go with it. So we can meet Vincent early on. Maybe Yuffie has to be mandatory. So like it opens up a possibilities of the way they want to tell a story. But
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
With basically fighting Sephiroth almost in an ending type fashion already, does that take away from an eventual final conclusion battle again? With I felt like I'm torn, man, because I like the idea of doing something different, but again, you're messing with a lot of stuff here. The potential for this to go wrong is strong. You know what I'm saying? That part I
And I agree with you. I definitely agree with you on that. And that's why when I first finished the game, I was lukewarm because look at Square Enix's past record, right? For releasing games and even with the Final Fantasy VII compilation story, like it's been messy. It hasn't been all that good. So that potential for it to fail is really high, just like this remake, right? We're so skeptic going into it. Whether they can create something amazing at the end of it remains yet to be seen. We have to see how Part 2 is going to shape up and how they're going to take the story in different directions. So I'm optimistic about it. Yeah, I'm cautious as a Final Fantasy VII fan that loved the original. I'm cautiously optimistic on it, but I do see the potential to go beyond what the confinements of the story and tell things in different order and make certain things have more of an impact. Okay, like that first 45 minutes for the bombing mission was. It blew our expectations away, right? Because it takes like the first 5 minutes of the game expands to 45 to an hour, and it's something that we all imagined as kids. Now, what if they take that with liberties with the story when it comes to Aerith, right? What if she knows she's going to die?
What if
and she
I don't
has
think
this
she's
thing in her head.
dying.
Then
I
it's
don't think
not
she's going to
Final
die.
Fantasy
Again,
Yeah.
what if they create this false hope that, man, we can save Aerith this time? Maybe she doesn't have to die. But what
that's
if,
where I'm at. I think I'm
Yeah.
concerned they may go that way. That they may, yeah.
If you want my
to pull that switch?
Hold on, what are you
pull that
saying,
switch
BG?
on you?
I think so. So, like I said, I think them changing the ending of this was okay because, for one, it gets us talking. If this didn't happen, if it was the exact same
facts.
ending, we would be sitting here talking about, okay, we know what's going to happen on this too. We're going to go here. We're going to go here. We're going to here. This the game's going to end here. Done.
I can't tell you how much I would love that.
Everything about this game.
Hold on, let me say something real quick. 'cause
Let
I-
me finish. So let me finish.
Fine with that. Even though we may be fine with that, I think it's still more interesting to keep 90% of the game the way it is and change that little bitty 10% because it keeps us guessing. So I don't have an issue with that. I don't see the problem. I don't think 10% necessarily could absolutely ruin the game.
I think
No,
that
look,
10% is going
I'm
to
not that-
absolutely.
Good, Attic.
I think that
It's the mission statement,
I think
right? I'll let you go. I apologize.
That's good.
I think that 10%. It wasn't like it was like not direct. It was direct. They had you kill your future selves. They had you kill the dude creating the timelines and upholding them. They even said at the end of the game, the unknown journey. This is not Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's
I
the vibe I
completely
get.
agree with you. I think he is 100% right of being upset because he was promoted this and he bought this into thinking it's a remake. Me, on the other hand, I was more open to a different change, so I'm a little bit more open to the change.
And that's okay.
Now, being a Kingdom Hearts fan, I know how easy they can screw this up.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, exactly. And that's where my contention is. I know where they can screw this up pretty bad if they don't go about it the
Right.
the way fans have expectations, what the case may be. But with giving that, now people get, for people that are actually into the weaves of the theories and what's going to happen in part 2, now y'all get why Kingdom Hearts fans get so hyped up and why we love these connections and why
100%.
so now that's some of the people that are like, yo, this is crazy. How do we do part 2? Does
That's
this mean
every
that?
Kingdom Hearts
Yeah,
game.
exactly. Every Kingdom Hearts fan.
Right.
Right. So what you're
Yeah.
talking to in me is a guy that has never been satisfied with any connection or any plot point or any crazy thing that Kingdom Hearts has ever
Same.
done.
So,
Same,
but hold on.
same.
Let me interrupt you there. I want to address that. Then I have to finish my statement. Then I have to leave because I have to go do some stuff. All right. Okay. The reason people can't connect to Kingdom Hearts is because it's not the timeline changing. It's not the interdimension shit they do on there. It's the weird way that they put out the games.
Right.
That you
Yes,
have.
yeah.
Kingdom Hearts
In the
1
quick
is
detail.
technically. Kingdom Hearts 1 is technically in the middle of the timeline, and that was the very first game. The original game, the one that started all the timeline, is a mobile phone game. So that's the reason a lot of people don't understand what's going on. And once you play Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, like in order to understand the Kingdom Hearts franchise, you have to play all of them and sit down and think about what's going on. You can't just play them and not know.
It was harder back then too because it was on multiple platforms. So if you didn't have a Vita or a DS or the PlayStation, you was kind of
Yeah, you didn't have that
So
context.
going back into the Final Fantasy, it's like I told Cognito. I completely understand why Hoeg is upset because he was promoted this game for years, and they didn't that's the reason it's called Remake and not Remake Part 1.
Right.
It's because they knew they were going to finesse you. I personally feel like Sephiroth isn't even going to be the main antagonist for these games anymore. I feel like that's the reason you fought him so epic in this one is because they won't have you have that fight again.
Right.
I feel like
you're still gonna fight Sephiroth.
you're going to fight Sephiroth, but I don't think he's going to be the final antagonist.
I think
be
I
time-traveling
think
alien
if you want
Sephiroth,
my
not
honest
Christian
opinion,
Sora.
if you want my honest opinion, I think that they're going to go more into the war with the with Yuffie's people in Midgar because they kept talking about that in there.
They did talk about that.
I feel like they're. If you want my honest opinion, I know this is going to be off the rails.
Uh-oh.
I think they're going to have Genova's race attack the planet.
Do you think they're completely deployed?
Alien invasion then.
Alien
so
invasion.
right in
Because it's like I said, like if you look at it from the standpoint of at the very end where they had like the circle loop thing that they did at the end of the original, like to me it felt like they did that because they're like, we're not doing this again.
That's what it felt like. It felt like a troll. Like
we're not doing this part again.
I called it a prank.
Yes.
And I felt like the only reason that they would have Sephiroth so epic like that, because I think that whole fight with Sephiroth was in Cloud's mind. I don't even think that was in a realm of existence.
It was in a singularity, whatever the hell that means.
Because he used a meteor. Like, there was too many things to make that a real fight. That wasn't like a realm that doesn't exist.
Right. He didn't pick up the Shinra building and throw it at us. I've seen the figure is still there.
So, I feel like the only other thing that we know of, obviously there could be some plots that doesn't know of. The only thing narrative that we don't know, that the variable that we don't know that they could take this game in, is Genova's existence and her origins.
Let me ask you this, Eric, before I pass the Hoeg. What about, all right, we're getting into Infinity in-game territory. And my question, again, another big shocker was, obviously I didn't play Crisis Core, but Addict, thank to you, I educated me, got me up to speed, was the whole Zack thing. And Zack is alive, and Zack is not following, they're definitely following another path. Let me ask you guys, like, do you think they're going to encounter themselves on this different timeline? Are we into the? We gonna have?
See, we don't know how this is gonna work. It's like Hoeg. This is Final Fantasy. This is Kingdom Hearts land. This is not Final Fantasy.
This is Weirdo Zone.
Okay,
and I can understand where Hoeg is
Square
upset with this.
Has no problem making people almost identical. They got no problem doing that. Okay. When they went to the other timeline, I don't know if that particularly meant they took the people in that timeline, their respective person in that timeline's place. But part of me feels like that's not the case. I feel like there's another Cloud. There's another. There's another of everyone that went through that timeline, including Sephiroth.
I think I don't think they should meet each other. I think that they should see glimpses into another timeline. Actually, meeting your alternate self is like super 90s B-list movie.
Yes,
type.
I don't want to see that.
Honest opinion.
Yeah, I'm with
if you want my honest opinion, with Zack there, we don't know what kind of person Cloud would end up being.
And I think that's part of Sephiroth's plan.
Cloud dying, because Zack dying is what
made Cloud.
Is what is what killed his mind to make him think he was Zack for years.
Right.
And if Zack is alive, for all we know, that timeline of Cloud could be evil.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's where like the possibilities of like kind of like that crazy meet each other can kind of go pretty cool, but again, it could go really wrong at the same time.
Right.
Good Lord, if Cloud fights Cloud, I
really don't think they're gonna go that far. I just think
but there's no reason for us not to think that, because they didn't give us anything like that. All we know is they went into another timeline where Zack is alive. Okay, so
but no, even in that ending area right there, it showed Cloud walking past Zack in that past timeline.
That was the past. That was signifying that in that time, because Zack died before the events of this game, it was showing that at that time in the past he was walking on the same path that they were in the future. So when you actually catch them, up. But see that's happening in Crisis Core. Crisis Core happened before the events of this game. Yeah. So if they actually went back to Midgar, I'm willing to bet you Zack is there.
Nah, I don't think so at all, because
what you think?
regardless of how you view it, Zack is dead. Zack died.
Zack is alive.
Why do you think Zack's dead?
Why do you think Zack's dead, Barry? I'm curious.
It shows you that he died with the Shinra soldiers killing him and all that stuff.
But that was in Crisis Core. It's no longer that.
But they show him walking off with Cloud, like he survived it and he's still alive.
They killed Fate.
They show him walking because Cloud Zack gave Cloud his Buster Sword, right?
Yes.
I gotta remember, it was the Buster Sword in his back during when they walked by.
No, after that fight, Zack,
it can't be that.
That fight, Zack fell to his knees and fell on his back and died.
Right.
And crawled.
Yeah, and he gave Cloud. He said, "Carry my legacy." And the reason why Cloud pretty much took that personally, because the Mako poisoning and the Genova cells within him, it took that literally, like, yo, okay, I'm carrying this legacy. I'm this person.
In the original game, Zack didn't even have the energy to put that sword on his back. He is very alive.
It looks like it.
Nah, I don't think so.
What's your theory, BG?
Let's do a bend the knee on this.
We'll see, BG.
We doing a bend the knee. Yes or no?
We bringing it back. Bend the knee. We bringing it. So the bend the knee is Zack alive?
That's all. Is Zach alive? Bend the knee.
I say yes.
In the same world as this game.
Yes.
Yes.
I
He's got a graphic. Look at
I
that.
think he is right, and I think that's part of
He set the
Sephiroth's
graphic.
plan. I think is he realized he went far back. Like
I don't
that's
think
when a lot of stuff
that's
started.
part of Sephiroth's plan. I think that was just a repercussion of what happened because Sephiroth did what he did. I don't think he intentionally had something
Sephiroth
like
got bodied once. I think he gonna double check to like make sure stuff. He's not gonna let that slip through the cracks.
But he killed him. He
There's no
destroyed
reason to
Zack.
have that scene if Zack isn't alive, and there's no reason to fight fate
I'm with
if
you,
they're not
Hoeg.
going to make significant
I'm with
changes.
you,
That's
Hoeg.
the mission statement.
Yeah,
They even said at the end, the unknown journey, as in, look, we know you love this book we call Final Fantasy 1997. We know you love this book, and they threw that in the trash. We ain't listening to it.
And screw you. Not only did they throw it in the trash, they said, "Here's the book. How about you throw it in the trash?" They said, "You have to take the sword. You have to kill fate, and you have to listen to Red 13 say." Oh my God! If we fail here, we have to go play Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
Coyote.
yo, Hoeg, if you remember Red's vision, when they all saw the vision, Red's vision was the original ending to Final Fantasy VII 500 years later. Yeah,
They straight up,
That was like
they
the
straight
300
up
years
asked.
later,
They
yeah.
said, "Look, like what was that?" He said, "It's tomorrow's future if we fail today," and they did not fail.
We're killing Final Fantasy VII. Please help us do it. I cannot feel more pranked or trolled. You talk about ludonarrative dissonance. You talk about times in games where you don't want to be doing what the game tells you you need to do. Is that I bought this Final Fantasy VII remake. I am stoked about this. This is fantastic. Now kill it.
So here's the theory, right?
Let's go,
I
BG.
think I think Aerith it will die, right? I don't think she's gonna die at the same point she did in the original, right? I think they're gonna pump fake us into believing, oh, she doesn't die.
Now,
Then she might realize, oh, the only way we can win is I have to die. So maybe she doesn't die by I think
willingly.
willingly.
Yeah, it's Sarah in Final Fantasy
Let
13.
She technically don't have to, as long as she summons I'm holy.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out.
Technically.
to you, BG. What happens if they don't kill Aerith? Because I think they're gonna kill a party member for that, like that moment,
Shock factor,
because they want to relive that to some point. But I don't think it's gonna be Aerith. I think it's gonna be Tifa.
First of all, she's
yeah.
They're building Tifa up crazy
Tifa-
this time.
Tifa plays a really critical role in going to Cloud's mind and figuring him out and helping him.
They're
later
building
on.
her up
Yeah.
like crazy.
So,
But the thing is Cloud doesn't need to do that. He knows who he is.
He knows who
the
he is
only
now,
reason he's being crazy is because Sephiroth is messing with him.
But again,
If you take the premise that Sephiroth knows what's going on, and
No,
that's
but
how he
Cloud-
came back in time or whatever, there's no way he puts Aerith in the live stream. So the main plot is probably Aerith isn't in the live stream, and then the party has to kill her because they have to put her there to cast Holy.
Evil Hoeg, that's evil. That's dark Hoeg.
It's shit. It's a terrible story, but it's fucking Nora.
I disagree. I disagree
Let's go.
because even like near the end of the actual the ending to this game, where Cloud or Sephiroth goes up to Cloud saying, "Those 7 seconds, what are you gonna do with them?"
Yeah.
Is he referring to the time where they're
It takes
facing
him
off?
summon his ability.
No, it's
Or-
the 7 seconds between me and you are hitting planet and not.
Or could it be the 7 seconds that he could have saved Aerith in the
No, the
original game?
chapter description talks about meteor hitting planet in the 7 seconds. It's in the chapter description.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay,
if he
okay.
uses the move, if you don't beat Sephiroth quick enough at the end of the game, a meteor hits you and kills you.
Man, kills you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
And he
it's
counts it
meteor.
down 7 seconds. He counts it down.
So do you want? You're going to try to save Aerith and lose the planet, or you're going to let her? I swear to God, it's going to be. You're going to have to kill Aerith yourself. But that's not Final Fantasy VII.
I can see that.
It's not. It's definitely. But here's the thing. Hold on. I know you feel passionate about this.
The thing
That's
is,
true.
Cloud was about to kill Aerith himself because he was being manipulated.
Yes, he's being
but,
manipulated.
Very
Yes, I
true.
remember
Yep.
that. Yes, in the original.
Genova Sephiroth came out and said, "No, I do it."
What about the theory of we all know we've slightly gone off the rails here with this unknown journey thing. It's not a 1-to-1 remake. What about, I say this, bring this to you, Hoeg, like for the people that say, okay, you know what, this seems more like an adaptation, right? We're taking the basic things of the Final Fantasy VII universe, what you know and love, and now we are going to change it. My question is, do you think there is any way, because I know how strongly you disagree, that they can redeem them and give us a new, interesting story and take on this characters and universe that would get you to kind of say, I don't necessarily agree with them taking my classic and manipulating it, but this is still told very well. Do you think there's any chance it could be salvageable to you?
Here's what I compare this project to now, and I think you saw my tweet go out on this, Cognito, but I view it as Game of Thrones, and I view it as I trust the people that made Game of Thrones as long as they had book material. They were good at adapting that book material. I haven't been fully satisfied with a modern Square Enix game in 15 years. So what I was pleasantly surprised to see was that, yeah, you've got craziness in Final Fantasy VII Remake, but as long as they were holding to the book of 1997, it was more grounded than it usually is for modern Square Enix. It was less convoluted. It was a simpler story of heroes and villains. And I think if you say, we're now going to do our own thing, then I have to, instead of evaluating what you've got as your source material from 1997, I wind up evaluating you against Kingdom Hearts 3, Lightning Returns, and
no,
that's modern Square Enix. Those are the novel stories.
Very disrespectful.
Very disrespectful right now. Continue.
They are. And so if I don't like those things, or if they weren't, I'll still be buying Final Fantasy Reframe or whatever the hell they wind up. And I will buy it, but it's not what I wanted. Right. And so do I think there's a chance? There's always a chance.
Right.
A blind squirrel finds a nut.
I'm done.
I could love the next Nomura game. It seems unlikely, but it's a possibility. Is it going to be Final Fantasy VII? Not a chance in hell. And frankly, I'm sick of meta-contextualists, navel-gazing, and beard-stroking, and deciding what the nature of the creator is to his creation, and talking about the horrible shadows that look over his shoulders to try to make an actual Final Fantasy VII game. You don't want to make it, bud? Don't make it. But don't wear the skin suits of my favorite characters and locations around to tell a Kingdom Hearts story.
I feel you. I know where you go. To the letter of the... You're to the letter, like the true attorney. A letter of the law. This was not what you were promised. You know what I mean?
And worse, I thought I had 10 years of looking forward to it, and now I don't.
Okay. No.
Here's the thing with your opinion, Hogan. For most part, I completely agree with you because I am that Kingdom Hearts fan. I am the one that hyped up versus 13 and even changed to 15, and I was disappointed more or less by them. I enjoyed my experience, but looking back on them, yeah, it could have been better. It could have been something greater. With Final Fantasy VII Remake, I feel like that classic can't be touched, right? It's most of us, it's perfect in our minds. Again, not the perfect game, but for us, we just love it. The 7 Remake, it definitely hit that notes of nostalgia and just storytelling perfection we wanted from Square Enix for so long. Yeah, and even with like in the ending, it's definitely gonna be it's gonna be divisive on a lot of people. For me personally, I love the possibility of where they can go from here. And
there's a part of me that's excited in a weird way.
Yeah,
Continue.
For where they can go from here and what other meta stuff they can go with it. And again, if you don't like Kingdom Hearts like storyline or anything like that, then it's definitely going to be nothing for you. You're going to be upset, and you're going to be something that you're going to be very hesitant on going forward. And I completely agree with that, which is why when I finished the game, I was very lukewarm. I was lukewarm on the ending, but the more I thought about it and the more I saw the connections and saw where past characters were saying certain things, it didn't make sense the first time, and now they do. It got me really excited.
Yeah, and we're part. I come off as passionate, and I come off as strong. I'm a lawyer, so one thing I want to say here is that I don't begrudge a single soul who loves that ending, who's excited about the future. I would never ever tell anybody that likes something to not like it. That's not what I'm about.
Respect.
But I get to that end and I say, I think I've described it as the dream is dashed. I wanted to be excited about doing all those things on the end of disc 1 and disc 2. And I have a high level of worry that not only are they going to do it poorly, they're going to do it in the framework of what I love, and it's going to be grotesque.
I feel you.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. That definitely was in my mind when I was writing my review for it. I went to the more optimistic route where you're definitely more of like they can definitely mess this up because of their past games, and I completely
I can understand that. Let me get Bari, man. This thing is ending, bro. Like, what was going through your mind during?
Yeah, what was going through my mind is just like, I hit them with the okay. I'm a purist guy as well, but I love the original game. I love how the original game, the story is being told, but I can't be like and say that I didn't like how this story is being told, or how how the ending was. My biggest gripe with the ending is the avalanche part with Biggs and that was my take. I was like, yo, why they got these dudes alive?
Why they got them alive? Yeah, that's
what I mean. That was my take.
With Wedge, you mean, like, specifically?
Why did Wedge have to get thrown through a second window?
Yeah,
and Biggs and
I think they did that. I was actually thinking about that. I think they literally kept Wedge alive just to try to first explaining the story of the Whispers, just to get the point across again. Because when they at the end, when the Whispers grab him, they're again showing you he's not supposed to be here. This man's supposed to be gone.
Facts.
Like, I thought that's what I thought that was.
Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, but look at Biggs. The ending, he got up, he's recovering. I was like, whoa. You RIP this man.
Yeah, I thought he was out of there on when we were getting to climb the thing. Yeah, exactly.
But as far as the changes with the ending, I'm definitely on the optimistic side. But yeah, I'm also cautious as well, because when it's something that you do love, you kind of want it to sustain that that perfection that you remember the game as and all that, right? So. Like I'm very optimistic of how the story is going to go. I don't like that theory with the Zach thing, but we're definitely going to see, man. I'm a very vocal dude, so I'll be on Twitter at Square.
Last question before I give it to BG in reference to that, because you and Heck are the Kingdom Hearts dudes. My question is, what did you feel when Sephiroth is doing the Kingdom Hearts wing move, and like he didn't do any of that?
Yo, when he did Heartless Angel, bro, I literally was like 50% health. I was like, oh, let me heal up because I know what's coming. And then right away, boom, dropped me to like 10 HP. I was like, okay, this guy's nuts.
But my question is,
that counter stance,
did that conflict with you as the Final Fantasy VII purist? Or you love Kingdom Hearts so much in his version of that because they're merging things, right? They're merging games of different.
I like the fact that they implemented that move, because I think that move is basically like it's a legendary move. Like, it's a Kingdom Hearts thing, but it's still very much tied to Sephiroth. The angel with the name of the move and all that. If you're not a Kingdom Hearts fan, you're probably gonna have an issue with it. But I feel like it didn't take away anything from me. Personally, it just added more. Like, oh, they added this stuff into his arsenal. That's really cool.
Okay. I mean, BG, man, I heard you.
Yeah, I was just gonna get into some other stuff.
Let's get to it.
Besides the ending, like the only thing, one of the other things I didn't like, or just bothered me a little bit, was and I guess it made sense for the story's sake, the fact that how in the original, when you got to Shinra and you got to the upper levels and everything like that, the ambiance and the atmosphere, it was literally a horror movie. It was a horror movie. I was like,
the lighting is insane.
I like the original lead up to like Sephiroth, and everybody was like, "What the hell is going on?" Then you see the blood trail.
The trails.
It's dark. The blood trails. They even switch up the type of enemies you run into. I was like, "This is dark."
Fire.
And you don't get the same like horror scene type thing in the new one, which I understand why. But like, I missed it. It was that. Besides that, I mean. This one of Final Fantasy usually isn't my favorite, because there were some parts where, due to storytelling, they had a lot of, in-game cutscenes. And I feel like sometimes it just interrupted the flow of gameplay. I was like, just let me fight. Stop interrupting me. I get it. Let me fight and everything like that. And just Aerith herself, I've explained my gripes with Aerith. I think Aerith exists for nothing other than a story plot character, because like she is useless otherwise. I just don't like I
her.
don't
Yo,
like
she's
Aerith,
useless
bro.
in
You
the
know what you gotta
remake.
use,
Bro, she's trash.
Bro, let
Aerith
me
is
tell you what
trash in the original and the remake.
Bro, this is what you gotta
She's
use.
useless.
You gotta use that.
Aerith is OP in the remake. In the original, she's trash.
She's got. You ever use that move, that ray of whatever, where she does that focus light?
Oh, the ray of judgment.
Bro, that joint is dumb strong.
My move is the arcane
Yeah.
wind, bro. Arcane wind is so broken because you can cast magical spells like
Double
twice
time,
in that area,
yeah,
bro.
yo.
And then when you get the ATB barrier one,
that-
oh my, yo,
And
she
you
is
put,
OP,
you
bro.
put your people in that circle, the ATB circle, and then you just keep flowing with the limits and
With-
stuff. It can get
with
crazy.
with what she with her pluses, she doesn't her pluses do not like certify her as that character slot. It just doesn't verify her to be worth the character slot that she's in over Tifa or Barrett. It doesn't.
Yo, you know what? You know why you
Tifa
gonna
and
like her?
Barrett's pros are way better than Aerith's pros.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
can give you that.
BG, you know what's the
materia.
pro? You know what's the pro with Aerith? Her magic potency is so much more effective than Barrett or Tifa. Like if you do heal,
Yeah.
like
We got
Aerith
magic up for that.
will heal you. Like I'm
We got magic up. See, here's my thing.
got magic.
Everything for almost everything Aerith can do. There's the materia for that. We can do
Nah,
that.
yo, but when you
need
play-
shield, we got barrier for that. You need healing, we got cure for that.
when you play hard mode and I know you playing hard mode now. I don't know if you get to Aerith yet, but yo, when you heal with Barrett, it would be like 25%. Aerith, it'd be 75%.
Yeah, her healing
I'm with them
clutch.
wards,
Her healing
BG.
clutch.
Them wards are fire. That
Bro.
ray, bro.
I pretty much make Barrett is the tank, right? Like
Yeah.
even when my first playthrough, he had like 7,000 HP while everybody like
Oh,
Cloud
yeah,
and
yeah, that's a-
Tifa
that's a fact.
has,
That's a
like,
fact.
because I put HP up on him. So I put HP up on him
Yeah.
and I give him revival and I give him cure and some others. So because he's the one I can guarantee you he's not gonna die.
He gonna
Like
make
Barrett never died.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I can always pick up and heal everybody else. You know, so I don't need Aerith. That's why I don't like her. I just feel like she's a
I feel
useless
you.
waste of space.
She doesn't mess with your
Yo,
team.
that arcane win is OP.
And
though,
on
bro.
top
with
of
you,
that,
Barney.
like, and on top of that, it's just that when you compare, like, if we consider her like a support, character, healing buff character,
Yeah.
when you compare her to other characters like her in other RPGs, she doesn't stack up.
Oh my god.
She doesn't stack. Come on, bro. Come like I play like when you play like even like I played Dragon Quest like a year or two ago. Like the healing characters in that game, bro, they make her look like trash. Like
I don't know.
We got, yo, bro. We gotta
I
get you.
disagree with that
about-
one. I disagree with that one.
I'm
Yeah, I can't
talking
agree with
about
that.
like they learn moves that nobody else
Could do.
can learn for one thing, so they're invaluable, right? And it's not like they're not like limit breaks or like abilities. They're just like things they can do,
Right.
Like with whether it's buffs, like attack up, defense up. Hey, that's your limit break. Oh, these are regular moves for us. Move over.
Listen, I feel
trash,
you.
bro.
She's not for you. She's not for you. It's clearly all I would say is get that I forgot the name of the weapon that gives that like I said, if Ray of Judgment, if you want to make her a little bit more offensive, I thought that was super powerful.
That's the mithril one. I think it's the rounded one.
Yes,
get rid of
the
it.
rounded
God,
one. Yes,
missing with that is a trip.
it's a trip. It's definitely a trip. There's no doubt about it. I mean, but
It's slow, but that move it does so
start
much
up
damage.
slow.
and stagger.
But if you get that off, it is something crazy. I thought Prey was, but she had started off. I mean, even though it's a material everybody could get, yes.
What's that other move? The shield one. That
Yes.
move OP too, bro.
That
Because against Dreamwave, Genova Dreamwave, bro, I have so much of those shields
And-
up. Like,
okay,
yo, what are you doing?
But let me ask y'all a question. Okay, so knowing the full cast of Final Fantasy VII, right?
Let's go.
Okay, let's say in a situation where Aerith doesn't die, how many of you are keeping her in the party when you could choose anybody? You're full.
Oh, no,
cast.
she's gone. She's gone. That's a fact.
Those competitions or the Coliseum fights that you do like near after you beat the game, she is so helpful with planet protection. And when it's actually a
planet
Coliseum
protection
fight,
is OP.
yeah, there's a Coliseum where there's like a 2v2 fight. I brought Tifa and Aerith with me because Aerith's the one could do that healing, do a bunch of that magic, while Tifa's definitely that quick fist fighter that can stack her enemies quick.
Yeah.
But are you keeping her over Sid, Vincent, Barrett, everybody else in a full? If you could choose from all of them, are you keeping her in?
He may be right on that. You may be on this. I got to give you the on to something for that. PG.
The thing is, like the remake, they made Aerith so much more useful.
Are you keeping her?
Yo, BG's on to something. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I gotta
keep
keep. As
her in.
much as I like her, I don't know if I will keep. Like when Vincent comes and all these other people, and now we get. But can we say though? Shout out to Red being kind of low key useless in his.
Yo, Red was staggering people for me, bro. I don't know.
He was getting. He's getting roughed up. I had to go
like
save him in that part.
Yo, then he was doing limit breaks. I was like, yo, he's doing the Starlight. I was like, yo, Rex, thank you, bro. Let's go.
Now, BG, I'm not gonna lie though. If we get Sid and then we get
she's in the bushes.
Vincent in the party, Eric's definitely getting
Eric
that.
definitely
Nobody
in the
touched her.
bushes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact. I ain't gonna Yuffie, that's my chick too, man.
Yeah,
So,
Sid's my guy. The basically the dragoon of Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, he's my guy.
No doubt. So look, man, I'll be jumping real quick out of the way. We've been going long, but look, at the end of the day, my feeling was okay. Like Barry said, we are not my mama's Final Fantasy right now.
it's a different beast here.
We are doing something completely different. And what's crazy is I'm a purist. So generally when people do stuff like this and you start messing around with source material and you start forcing your own little agendas, I'm usually like Hoeg. I'm actually surprised because I thought I was going to have that feeling at first. So the thing where I'm at now is, this is uncharted territory. They have the potential to completely ruin this, yes. But there is a part of me that is excited for a story. I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? There's a little part of me that's like, yo, this could be cool. Because if they pull it off and get it.
Cognito?
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Let's go.
No, I just want to ask a simple question because I can totally understand it could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
If it's cool.
Yes.
Outside of the lack of surprise, which I think we overvalue in a society in general, talking about spoilers and things of that nature. But outside of the lack of surprise, do you think even a cool story would wind up better, more resonant, more fulfilling, more emotional than the original Final Fantasy?
Let me ask you a question. This is my take on it. I feel this part one, in my opinion, they told Final Fantasy already.
The whole thing.
I feel this is the new. Part 2 on is the new. When the credits come up and it says the untold journey awaits, you have now told me we are breaking the script and we doing what we want to do. Like,
no, absolutely. What I'm saying is when they get done with the project,
right?
And we look back and maybe we say it's a good story. Right. Hey, that wasn't terrible.
Right.
What are the chances in your mind of that good story being better than what would have
it's very
been
low.
a remake of the original?
I agree. The chances are completely in your favor for them to botch this, to do ridiculousness. Absolutely.
No, I'm saying it's good. I'm saying they make a good game.
Oh, if they make a good
but
game.
It ain't Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, okay. I don't compare them because I look at this as an adaptation. I look at this as
a different beast.
I look at this as the writers saying to themselves,
lost the chance to have the remake.
Right.
So I think the right comparison point is at the end of all this, we don't get that thing.
Right.
Even if it's good, would it have been that good? See, I look at things more holistically. I try to think of things 10 years down the line. This is the project that we got.
Right.
And comparing it to the project that we thought we were getting, what we could have had based on what they demonstrated in the Final Fantasy remake.
Here's my difference where I disagree with you. They completely demonstrating to me throughout this whole game, we are breaking protocol. They keep reminding you, yo, fam, I know you thought this was going to happen, but no.
That's what I got too, because like, the whole theme of the game is like everything has changed pretty much. Like the lead up to the results. The results is kind of the same there. Like, okay, this story beat happened within Midgar. This story beat happened with Midgar, but the lead up to everything has been completely different. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going with the next part. I feel like if they change so much, they're definitely going to lose that hardcore fan base. That's like
they've lost hope. The hardcore and the people who thinking this is a legit remake, that they definitely lied. There's no sugarcoating that. It's a lie. It's a bait and switch. I completely support and understand you, Hoeg, or anyone that says this is not you cannot throw remake on this and say this is the same game. I understand that. I completely do. And I definitely can understand and resonate. For me, when I was going through it, it just felt like, yo, this is the story we want to tell if we had more time and we had our creative freedoms to do what we want. That's the vibe I'm getting from them.
That's what they actually said in the interviews. They was like, this is the story pretty much that they wanted to tell, but due to like technical
limitations or restraints
you can't really,
I get. Do I necessarily agree? Go ahead.
I don't know if that's PR or that's
Well,
but that's what
in '96 they didn't want to tell a story about time traveling ghosts controlling fate.
Right.
I mean, I think that's clear.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think that's strictly
that is
because
a new addition. I agree with that.
that was the whole ghost thing definitely kind of threw me off for a little bit. I wasn't sure if I really liked them, but their purpose was so that they can tell the story how they want to tell it without being constrained by the pure story that they already have there. But
100%. No, it's pure
let me ask you one thing though, because you said that will it have the same emotional resonance? Will it have the same impact? How did you feel for the first 35 hours of the game when you're playing?
Loved it. I told you 15 out of 10.
Yeah. So from that right there, I feel like we can
Give him the
definitely
benefit of the doubt. Give him a little faith.
Exactly.
No, because I would say the 15 out of 10, the first 34 and a half hours is using the book material and adapting it. The half hour that I got to see where we fought a gigantic tornado man in a black hole before arriving at the edge of creation and like talking about a meteor in a weird way is what I can expect as the quality of writing going forward.
So you have no faith that in what this Homeboy's going to do that.
To me, it's okay. We're holding to the book. Now we're going to show off what we can do on our own, and we're going to do more of that on our own. And I hated it.
Listen,
I get that because like even with Avengers Endgame, right, where like some people hated it, other people loved it because it took like that time travel route, and a lot of people are just not going to vibe with it. I get that.
I get that. Now, BG, I need to ask you this. So, like, BG, overall, with what was presented, this ending, what is your feeling on this ending? How did you walk away from this?
I'm good with it, man. I'm good. I really don't have like many gripes with the direction they chose to go in. Like I said, if they keep it 90%, accurate, even if it's like this different timeline thing, I'm okay with it. I think they can still make the game whole, with whatever direction they choose to go in. I think it'll be fine.
I thought you're not going to be about it. I'm surprised.
I'm surprised too.
I feel they're gonna, as I said, the lead up is gonna be different, but the result is still gonna stay true.
That's how I see it. I feel like it's a pump fake. It's like, okay, y'all panicking. Oh wait, we got y'all. It's all right. Y'all worried for nothing. That's what I'm hoping.
I got you.
That's what I'm hoping.
And I'm just going to tell you, and that's fair. This is just opinions now.
Right. Yeah.
I can't imagine going through the effort of being so hard about we're not going to go to that future. We're going to fight fate. We're going to end that future. Jack's alive. Biggs is alive. We are going to do something entirely different on results. We're going to tell a different story. And so that's one of the discussions I've seen online is that, well, maybe it's going to be minor. Maybe it's going to be 90% the same. Maybe it's going to be the same as the remake. No, I don't think so at all. And I think you are going to get that from the next title. I jokingly said reframe. That's what I expect. I expect them to be saying, okay, remake is clearly the subtitle. It's not a descriptor, and it's going to be reframe, and it's going to be.
So you think the second one gets a whole new title because they're going left?
I'd be almost willing to guarantee it.
It's gonna be Final Fantasy 16.
I'm not gonna lie, man. If we get that Avengers Endgame moment where Cloud's about to face off Sephiroth, and then Barrett's like on your left.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna be in there.
if we get a Barrett carrying the Buster sword,
done.
Then I'll be like, yo, I'm fucking out.
And Zach's like, yo, I got you.
Thank you, Square.
So all of y'all, how many parts do we think is remaining?
3.
I think we're gonna have 3 total. 3 total parts.
BG?
Yeah, I think 3. Unless they take a really long time to put out 2.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be 3.
Heck.
If they're putting the attention to detail like they did with Midgar into each town, you know what I mean? I know Nibelheim is gonna get a lot.
Oh,
I know Cosmo Canyon is gonna get a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not sure everything's in it.
They cut that out. Hoeg think it's a complete departure. He's like, don't get your hopes up.
I mean, I think the stuff is there in the world that they can use for whatever story they want to tell now, and then they'll use those assets as they see fit. But I don't know that Cosmo Canyon's a guarantee. I don't know that Gold Saucer, Temple of Ancients, I think has to be, but maybe not. Who knows?
The thing is with Cosmo Canyon, I think it's there because they hinted it with the Cosmo Theater. That's pretty much the same technology that you have in the Cosmo Canyon, which, they probably linking like, oh, we took Shinra's technology. Now we have the whole planetarium thing here in our canon. But
okay.
Hey, I think it would be great, but you know, I don't think there's any guarantees. I think they are trying to establish. I said elsewhere online on this that you do that right at the end. You do the 34 and a half hours, then you hit up with all of that really in 1.5 hour, right before the ending of your game. Yeah. In a state where you know it's going to be at least 2 years, probably more before the next entry, because it's essentially giving the bad news and running out of the room.
I almost feel that way, Hoeg. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And hey, there's going to be a negative burst from people like me, and that'll dissipate as all passion and feelings do. And then when we're showing off you characters in some new places, Hoeg will be back on board.
Hoeg will better be on that though.
Like that's the marketing plan.
No, the thing is like I don't think nobody in here really disagreeing. Like I understand completely where your gripes are.
Yeah.
You know
what I mean? Because like I'm kind of there with you, but I'm just saying like
you're optimistic.
It was still good. Like Marvel movies, they change the whole continuity all the time, but the movie itself is not good. So I'm like I can't get down with you because the movie is not good.
That's what's giving me hope because like Hector, you said it great. When you asked Hoeg, what about you felt about the first 35 minutes, right? This was the most. This is literally my, the game of the year. Like I'm like, this is amazing. Like I wasn't. It was so well done, and I'm like, if this director and this team has given me this level of enjoyment, and I'm not saying that I'm not on Hoeg's side. We're saying I completely felt that the last 5 minutes or whatever was horrible, but. If y'all gave me this, I gotta give you a little faith and benefit of the doubt that whatever you got left to tell could still be great. That's what I'm holding on.
I think that's fair. I view it as them saying we're not going to do that anymore. So it's just a difference of opinion as to what's going to happen. And I don't know that any of us can get into Nomura's or any of the other leads on their minds. Right. But it seems to me like you go through that effort, you go through that production to say it's going to be really different. What you just saw was different. And if we didn't think that was good enough, if we didn't think that was different enough, then we wouldn't need to go through all this effort to have you fight fate, because a lot of stuff did change in the already 35 hours that you played, and that wasn't strong enough. We need to go and kill a giant monster.
My thing is that I just feel like I don't think the whole Watchmen of Fate, the whole Whisperers are completely out the way. I just felt like maybe it sounds corny here, but maybe that's like a small batch of them, because if they're hinting towards that these are like ghosts of like the Cetra, the ancients, there's no way that's going to be all of them there. You know what I mean? Like
what I think I saw at the end, and there's a lot of flash and weirdness, is that you get out, you kill the Arbiter, the Whispers are kind of leaderless. Sephiroth, whatever version of him, takes them all into himself, giving the symbolism of he is destiny now. And he has his own fate, and then you have a mental fight. He talks to you on the edge of a rock thing in space, and then you go forward into the unknown adventure. But he has all the power of fate. That Whispers are in him, and the Whispers are no more. The ones that were around in the past and elsewhere all dissipated. Every other Whisper is in Sephiroth. He controls his own fate, and that's the fight.
Yeah, because it showed that he was like kind of controlling, because that's where the Harbinger came from. Like he controlled them. Like, I want you to attack these guys here. You know what I mean? But we'll definitely see, man.
Look, 2 hours, y'all have been talking a while. Didn't expect this.
I can go another 4.
I could go. I know people got things to
do. That's a fact.
But listen, man, shout out to y'all for coming last minute, on the spoiler cast. Shout out to the chat, man. You guys are on fire with everybody. Let's get everybody's last little take as far as the next game. Let's get with you, Heck, and then as far as where people can find your stuff. So Heck, excited, not excited for the next game, and then also signing out where can people find you and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm super pumped for it. I'm super pumped for the next part, where they're gonna go from here. Again, cautiously optimistic because I love the original, and they definitely have the potential to mess this up, just like with the remake itself. But other than that, I'm excited. You guys can catch my review actually of Final Fantasy VII Remake on lordsofgaming.net. I go full detail into it, and I also got the score on there, so you guys could go check that out.
No doubt.
You can follow me on Twitter, Hector_Ram, Roman numeral 2, so II. You catch me there. I'm writing more articles. Definitely to get more into Final Fantasy VII because there's definitely a lot more to talk about.
No doubt. You already know. Salute, brother, for pulling up. Definitely at the round table. And, of course, my brother, Jay Barr. It's been a minute since I had you on, bro. Definitely appreciate your take.
Oh, yeah, it's been a minute, man.
Yeah, man. Passionate, candid on the PlayStation Nation as well. So, real thing, real quick, overall excitement, non-excitement for the next one, and also where can the people find you?
Oh, yeah, I'm super excited for the next one. I can't wait, man. Like, I'm playing this game over and over again. Like, hard mode is good, man. It's really, really good.
Trophies, brother?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely platinum in this. That's a fact.
No.
But yeah, I definitely appreciate the invite. It was definitely a fun conversation. Having different points of view in the game. But overall, I can say everybody enjoyed the game overall.
Yeah.
Personally, it's my game of the year. I know you guys been seeing it on Twitter. Since last year I've been saying it. Game of the year 2020.
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah, man. You can find me Jay _ Barry TOA or J. I think J Barry _ TOA. My bad. I don't know my own Twitter. But yeah, I will be doing another spoiler cast as well on my channel.
Oh, okay.
I'm just waiting for certain people to finish the game. They taking a little too long.
They taking long.
But
I might have to pull up for that.
Yeah, if I post pictures and I waited a week to post pictures, guys, I don't care if it's spoiled or not. You guys been playing this game before me. A lot of people got this game physical. They played it before me, but they complain about me about spoilers. Come on, man. Let's stop.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You already know. And of course,
matter of fact, one thing, last name, Square Enix, stop blocking the PS4 capture with the last boss fight. Come on, man.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm like, they must have a time limit on that, right? You think they eventually will
they
release?
blocked the last two fights, man. But I'm definitely gonna Elgato capture that. I'm gonna capture that, man.
They did that with 15, but the question is, did they ever relinquish that blockage at one point? Can I go to Final Fantasy 15 at the ending and try to screen cap and put it up?
It might go to Hoeg's point. It's such a drastic change that they didn't want this leaking out to everybody. I guess I don't know.
I think so. If Alice can lift the restrictions, I think Square Enix can too. Because Alice is crazy with it.
Fair enough, and of course the leader of the Weapon Wheel podcast, my man BG, man. Good to have you pull up in the realm. You already know, and tell me about how excited or not excited you are about the part 2 of Remake / Reframe and where the people can find you.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for the next game. I'm working on hard mode right now. I'm going for the platinum. It's not actually a difficult platinum, especially if you love the game. It's not a difficult platinum.
Yeah.
The most challenging thing might be getting the list of enemy skills. That might be the most challenging thing. But that's just a little bit tedious. But yeah, I'm going for the plat. The last platinum I went for was 2017 with Horizon Zero Dawn. So that's just how much I'm enjoying this game. So I'm gonna get the plat. And y'all can catch our Weapon Wheel podcast Sundays at 6:30.
Yes,
right? Live.
You already know, Salute, brother. That's what's up. And of course, the spiciest of all takes, my man, Hoeg Law in the building, bringing the smoke. Loving what he was bringing to the table. Some fantastic points, man. So first of all, are you excited or even purchasing Remake / Reframe? And number 2, where can the people find you? I'm curious.
Well, as I said, I think I would be lying if I said there was much of a chance that I won't be purchasing it whenever it comes out, because I have to be honest about these things. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the guy that they're trying to get on the margin to convince them to buy something with Final Fantasy on the label. I'm a sucker.
Absolute.
Outside of that, yeah, when I'm not just talking about Final Fantasy on either Twitter or podcasts, I do law here in Southeast Michigan. And I have a YouTube channel that most prominently has a series called Virtual Legality, where we talk about the business and law of pop culture, most often video games, movies, TV, things along those lines. One of the ones that we had that's pretty popular is we went through the streaming restrictions on what you can stream and not stream with respect to Final Fantasy VII Remake, how that was impacting people that had the game earlier than April 10th, I think on April 3rd in Australia. And so we talk about those things all the time. You can find that at youtube.com/HoegLaw, and you can also talk to me whenever you like, as long as you don't mind a lot of Final Fantasy tweets on Twitter, also at Hoeg Law.
Yo, salute, Hoeg, man. Definitely thank you for pulling up, man. Fantastic to have you on. Always great to have all different sides of this feeling. Your tweets were monumental. I was like, I have to. You were the inspiration to push me to end this game. And
me going nuts after Tuesday night. Yeah.
oh, bro,
Sorry.
yeah, it was a
Sorry
marathon.
for your timeline.
Yeah, it was crazy. Man. I had to mute people. I had to just get off, be dark for a while. It just try to absorb this thing. But
yo,
yes.
my timeline muted everything, man.
Yeah. I couldn't afford that. But yeah, salute to that. Salute to you guys for pulling up, man. This is fantastic. Like I said, for me, you already know what it is, Lord Cognito on Twitter and all that stuff. Yes, I will be getting Remake Reframed. There is a little bit of it. There's a little bit of excitement to see where they're gonna go with this thing. But that's all I got, man. Everybody, look, enjoy.
It's okay if I say one thing?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Cog, for the invite. And then, again, it's a pleasure to talk with all you guys about this because growing up, I never really had a lot of people to talk about with Final Fantasy. My sister was not the gamer, dad, mom, no way my family was not the gamer. So I really appreciate this discussion, going deep dive to Final Fantasy. Again, thank you so much for having me here.
You already know, brother. I had to have you, man. Look, everybody, enjoy your day. We're about out of here. You know, Island Podcast tomorrow, Sunday, 1 p.m. We're going to hit you with this outro, and we out. Catch you guys later. Peace.
You